Shabbat Shalom, Mishpacha. This is Rabbi Simon Altaf. I call him from the East with another lecture from the East. First of all, I'd like to give a happy Hanukkah to all those who are celebrating Hanukkah this week. Today is the 6th day of Hanukkah, and those of you who are celebrating Christmas or have celebrated Christmas, it's already been. So I guess a Merry Christmas to you on that front. And also we still got the New Year to go, and probably our next lecture will be after the New Year. So I also wish to give you all a very happy new Gregorian New Year, because our New Year already started back in, as you know, depending on where but depending on lunar or the solar calendar, our lunar year already started, the civil year, back in September-October time period, and our biblical New Year doesn't start till next year, March 21st. So we have time for that. So Baruch Hashem Yahweh, and today's lecture, because it's the festival of lights, being Hanukkah, and I wanted to look at Genesis chapter 1, and I wanted to look at the words of the Messiah Yeshua, where he said that I am the light of the world. We will look at that. I think it'd be good to look at that. I'm gonna bypass the joke this week and go straight into the lecture, because I think it'd be good to continue with that. And I'd like to put some testimony and give thanks to Abba Yahweh for travel mercies, safety, and for giving me a favor as well on my journey. With that, I'd like to tell you that there is a bank over here where I go to occasionally, to exchange money and things like that. And there is a man that sits there, young man. And every time I go there, interesting thing is this: even if I'm two people behind, if I'm queuing up behind two customers, he will usually say to me, come forward. He just points to me and says, come forward. He'll take my whatever business I take to him, and then you got to go to one area of the bank to get a signature, then another area of the bank if you're depositing money, if you're taking money out or something like that. Then you have to come back to the counter 2 times. Every time I go to that young man, he would call me first in front of customers, in front of the queue, and then when I come back after I got a signature done, he will still call me in front, even if there's 2-3 people in front of me. So really, really good, great favor over here. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Wherever I go, there's favor, and it's been really great. And I've been able to sit down here, talk to people, and talk about Torah. So I have had a great favor. I found there was a man over here who contacted me, became my student in the Torah, and he told me how his family were keeping the Torah. They were at least trying to keep the Torah. They were doing the Hanukkah this week, and they do the Shabbat, the Sabbath, every week on Saturday. So basically they are doing things to best of their ability over here under the circumstances where they are living. As you know, is not an easy thing in an Islamic nation. Nevertheless, they are credible people, good people, and I said to the people that I will support them with materials, studies, whatever they need to build their faith and to help bring in other people into the faith. So that's where we are with the testimony this week. A lot of people over here, as you know, it's been a Christmas week. A lot of Christians were celebrating Christmas over here, and here it was the way they celebrate Christmas here is on Friday night, midnight, they go to church, they pray, or what they do is they have a cake in their homes and they cut the cake as a reference to the birthday of Yeshua, Jesus of Nazareth. That's the kind of the custom over here, which I guess they've acquired, the birthday date, December 25, from the Catholic stroke Anglican churches abroad in the Western Hemisphere. Now, I spoke to some of them and I told them that this reference date is just a reference date that the Catholic Church invented, which actually was winter solstice, then converted into Christmas. So I explained to them that, as a reference point, it is fine that you celebrate the birthday of the Messiah, but his actual birthday occurred during the festival of Tabernacles, which would be September or October time frame in the year, reference year where he was born or when he was born. However, there is no commandment within the Torah or the Tanakh or the New Testament which tells us that we need to celebrate the birthday of Jesus. And as you know, it's a custom, which is fine, and as a custom they do it. I was invited by one family to go to their home to cut the cake at midnight in reference to this, and I politely declined. I told them that I'm a Kohen, I'm here to teach the Torah, and I have to uphold the Torah first and foremost. I'm not going to go and highlight and cut a cake that Catholics invented, and I use the word invented in a good sense, not in a bad way. So I told them that I will not stand and pray over a cake for something that was invented by men. I said there is no commandment for me to do that. I'm sorry, I won't be able to attend that. However, I wish you a Merry Christmas and have a joyous time with your families. So I refused to go, and I did not attend that particular ceremony because as a Kohen, there is only so far that I'm allowed to go. And if, for instance, let me give you an example. If you have a spouse and your spouse would like to go to church and celebrate Christmas, then by all means you allow that to take place because you want to create peace in the home and not a collision or fighting. But if your spouse, male, if she's woman, of course, wife, or if a husband wish to go to church, then if they wanted you to accompany them, and let's say that you were in Torah, and for the sake of peace, you might go to the church, so that would be no problem. Or it could be vice versa. It could be vice versa, where you might be the husband and you might take your wife to church because maybe that's what you've done all your life. You've celebrated Christmas all your life, and maybe your wife is in Torah and she, you wish to take her and she goes with you for the sake of peace. That is fine. That is permissible within the light of the marriage and to keep the peace in the home. But if you had a relative, if you have your parents and they wish to invite you on Christmas dinner, of course you can go to the Christmas dinner and you can do all of that. So everything can be done in light of peace, so that we don't want to create an obstacle, and we don't want to create fighting within a family situation. But in my situation, although these people were family, a certain part of my family, but I refused to attend because for me it's a matter of principle more than practice. And there was no issue of peace over here because they clearly understood my situation, that I'm a Kohen and I vouch for the Torah, I teach the Torah, I believe the Messiah, and I believe fully that the Messiah taught and practiced the Torah. And I explained that to them, so they understood my standpoint, that I'm not going to go and celebrate or stand for prayers for something that I have no commandment for. So that would be counter Torah in that particular incident. So in that particular incident, I could take a stand, which I did. And so I would encourage you all that if it's a matter of peace within your families, like maybe it's your parents, you already dusted now with Christmas, but if you were in such a situation you had to do that, that would be no problem for the sake of peace. For a spouse, for parents, brothers and sisters, things of that nature. But if a church invited you and said, come and pray in the church, I would definitely say no to that. That, by the way, is not permissible by the Torah. So I want you to understand that clearly. You can go and sit in a church and listen to a sermon. That is fine. Listening to a sermon, listening to them pray on the Christmas, night, eve, it's fine. But you're not to stand and pray for that particular ceremony. That is when you're crossing the line of the Torah versus tradition. So, if you ask yourself the question, Torah or tradition, you'd have to politely decline, and I mean politely in a good way, not in a bad way. So that's just to explain my position for Christmas. That Christmas is an invention by the Catholic Church. It was a solstice day that was converted into Christmas. And then people, many of the people that I met over here, they don't know any history of the Catholic Church and what happened in the past. And they don't know the changes of the calendar. They don't realize that there is a Torah calendar, there is a lunar calendar, there is a Julian calendar, and there is a Gregorian calendar. They don't know these things. Because they don't know these things, they are completely oblivious to history and what actually happened. So they believe anything that their pastors teach them, whether it's, wrong or right, they believe that. That is their problem. They are good people, sincere in their approach, but unfortunately, they don't have the correct knowledge. And for that reason, they stumble on, things like that. And so I tend not to, when I'm, with families, I tend not to get into these things, and I keep my discussion away from religious subjects. If somebody was to prod me on the Torah matters, then I would speak about that and explain our stance, what we are as Jews, and why we do what we do as Jews. Because Jews and Israel is synonymous. The word is synonymous. If you say you're Jewish, then you're automatically Israeli as well. Meaning, you're part and parcel of the children of Israel, Bnei Israel. You don't have to show a nationality or identity. You don't have to show an address in Israel. You automatically, in the kingdom of God, in the covenants of God, you're already established without an address, because your address is in the heavens. And that's very, very important that we understand that. Now, I wanted to come back to the book of Genesis, and it says in the first chapter, first verse of the book of Genesis, Bereshit chapter 1, Bereshit bara Elohim alef tav hashamayim va'et ha'eretz. In the beginning, Elohim, powers, created the Shamayim and the land. And at one point it says, and Elohim saw the light that it was good. Or the verse 3 says, Elohim said, light be, and light was. And Elohim saw the light that it was good. And Elohim separated the light from the darkness. Now, this is the division of the day and the night. And a lot of people confuse themselves with verse 5, and they use that verse, and I'm going to show you the construct of that verse in the Hebrew in a minute. It says, Elohim called the light day, and the darkness he called the night. So the morning and the evening were Yom Echad, or the morning and the evening were day one. Actually, that construct is technically not correct, because a lot of people look at that. It's the other way down. So the evening and the morning. Actually, I'll give you the correct context first. So the verse is, and I'm going to read from the King James edition just before I read the version I just read. The King James version says, and God called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day. You see, when people look at that, they assume that the evening and the morning means sunset to sunset. What they forget, what they don't know, is that this is not telling you what is a whole day. It's actually separating evening from morning. But what it should really say, and this is where I'm going to come in now, I'm going to show you the change in the, which is going to go into the Hidden Truths that Breaks Clothes or Abrahamic Faith Bible, which is going to be, so the morning and the evening were Yom Echad, not evening and morning. And you might say, why is that? Because we cannot fiddle around with the Hebrew. At one point we can't say one way, at another point we can't say another way. So let me actually just go over that a little bit. In the English text, KJV for instance, the King James Version of the Bible, it says, and God called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day. Now, of course, this is not a very good translation. It's close, but it's not very good. Let me read out to you the Hebrew. The Hebrew is the Hebrew. I'm going to pull up my Hebrew Bible, and I'm going to read you the Hebrew translation, so you can understand why this construct is not correct. And I'm surprised that nobody even tried to correct it and just left it as it is. And I guess, you know, we didn't either, because I didn't want it to fiddle around too much with the text over here. You know, it would change status quo. I made so many changes in the translation of the Bible, and I thought everything has a time to change. And it wasn't the time for that change to come across yet. But now I believe that time is now for us to change that. And the verse 5 in the book of Genesis, it goes like this. And I want you to understand, and I will read and I will translate as I read it, so you understand why this, fundamentally, the King James Version translation that every Bible contains, that was in the Abrahamic Faith Bible as well, but it's now not going to be the case, which was Vayikra Elohim leor yom vele choshech kara laila veyehi erev vayehi voker yom echad. Now let me actually translate that for you word by word. Vayikra Elohim, and it should be literally, and God light. Yom vele choshech, day and darkness. Kara, he, there's no he in there by the way, but we have to assume, he called Laila, night, Veyehi, and there, Erev, dusk or night, Veyehi, and there, Voker, morning, Yom Echad, day one. Echad meaning unity, united, or let's just say one. So as you can see, when I literally translate this, it makes absolutely no sense. So what they do, they take the words which should have been morning and evening, they translated it evening and morning, which is backwards. That is the mistake that is made from the Hebrew, which says Vayikra Elohim, and God said Le'or Yom, and the word is and it says God said, or God called the light day Le'or Yom, Ve Lechoshech Kara Laila, Ve Lechoshech meaning and the darkness, Kara Laila called night. There is no he by the way. So it just says and darkness called night. Now there is no conjunction of the words at this point. There's no join right now. It's been separated. Now here comes the join. Vayihi erev vayihi voker yom echad. And the morning and the evening were day one, or the united together. Vayihi erev vayihi. Now here most translators, including myself in the past, the way I translated this was and the evening and morning, but what it should really be is morning and evening. Let me explain to you why. For that we have to go to the verse 1 of Bereshith. Bereshith bara Elohim. Here, actually if you read it literally, it would say beginning created God. Et hashamayim wa et ha'eretz. The heavens and the earth. Now, beginning created God. You see the problem? Beginning created God. In other words, something called the beginning created something called God. See, this was a translation from the Hebrew. Literally speaking, it would be totally wrong. So what they did, because they had to, if you remember that we had to write a Torah for the Greek people at one time, for the king in Alexandria, a Torah was commissioned, which today popularly became known as a Septuagint, and only the Torah was translated. The rest of it was translated by Christians. So here, what we see is that the Torah, they could not translate this as beginning created God, because that would sound like there is something called beginning and it created God, God being, the creator of the universe. So they had a big problem at their hands. So what they did, they reversed it and they said, God created in the beginning. You see how they twisted? You see how they turned the words around in the Hebrew? They had to do that because if they had literally translated the Hebrew, it would not make any sense. The same way, Vayikra Elohim, or the words Laila Vayihi, or the words Vayihi Arav Vayihi Vokir. Again, let me repeat those words from verse 5, the latter part of it. Vayihi Arav Vayihi Vokir Yom Echad. These words cannot be translated and the evening and the morning because it would make absolutely no sense. Now, this is the way sunset Sabbatarians, sunset being what the Jews do today, it is not Torah Sabbath. It is a custom Shabbat. It should really be translated exactly as we translated verse 1, where we said, and God created the heavens and the earth. And we should say, and morning and the evening were day one. This is where the difference comes in, and that, by the way, you can mark it in your Bibles. If you have a Hidden Truths Hebraic Scrolls or Abrahamic Faith, first edition or second edition, you can mark it there because that is the change that is going to go into the Torah, that's going to go into the Abrahamic Faith and the Hidden Truths Hebraic Scrolls all in one. I'm going to change that to the correct sounding way, which is going to be the morning and the evening were day one, because as you know, the Torah does not have a sunset day. There is no such thing as a sunset day in the Torah. So we cannot force one. Now, God did command us to do a fast on Yom Kippur. Now that fast was sunset to sunset. But those of you who know Torah understand that that is day and a half. That is not a whole day. Because it starts from the evening of the 9th day. And then it goes into the 10th day. See, that's where people don't know that the Torah tells us that Yom Kippur doesn't start day 10, it starts day 9. So for that, you'd have to reference the book of Leviticus, chapters 23, and you can read through chapters 23, and you will find a reference there to the Shabbat, the Holy Shabbat, or the Holy Day as we know it from Yom Kippur. And I would highly encourage you to read that. So I will read out to you from Leviticus chapters 23, verse is 26. And Yud-Heh-Vah-Heh, and Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, also on the 10th day of this month, of this 7th month, there shall be Yom Kippurim. It shall be a Mikra Kodesh to you, and you shall afflict your souls and offer an offering made by fire to Yahweh. And you shall do no work in that same day, for it is a Yom Kippurim, in quotations or in brackets, Day of Atonements, to make kaporah for you before Yahweh your power. For whatsoever soul it be that shall not be afflicted in that same day, he shall be cut off from among the people. And whatsoever soul it will be that does any work in the same day, the same soul I will destroy from among his people. And now here it gives the specifics. Verse 31 is where the specifics come in. 31, you shall do no manner of work. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. And it shall be to you a holy Sabbath, and you shall afflict your souls in the 9th day of the month at even from even. See, note over here, it started at sunset to sunset for the day Yom Kippur. It clearly tells you it's the 9th of the month, sunset to sunset, meaning there's actually no such thing there's no such thing in the Torah as a sunset day, but this one day was separated from sunset to sunset because it was a whole 24-hour period that was used. Today, Judaism practices a 25-hour period fast because it started 1 hour before sunset on the 9th. But you know that in Judaism, when the sunset day came in, which was during the time of the Greeks, and this period is important because we are celebrating Hanukkah. Hanukkah is a festival not commanded in the Torah, but it's a festival as a commemoration by the Jewish people for the time when Judah Maccabee, the Maccabee family, who were a priestly family, a Levite family, who stood up, fought a guerrilla war, and made a miraculous victory against a very large army. So therefore, this day is observed not because Torah commands us, because it's a commemoration by the people for dedication of the temple when the menorah was lit. So, today we have a Hanukkah, which is, 8 candles. It wasn't always like that. It was a menorah, and when they went into the temple, they found one flask of oil, virgin olive oil. They used that to burn until the next oil could be made ready. Then there is a reference to a miracle that took place, and that the oil burned for 8 days. By the way, there is no mention of that miracle in the Tanakh. There's no mention of it, and nobody mentions it in history other than it's believed this was more a legend than a miracle. Now, maybe there was a miracle of some type, but I believe that the miracle that took place was the priestly family that gathered the freedom fighters from Israel, and they defeated a large army. That was a miracle, in my personal opinion. Now, there is no reference by any rabbinic authority that there was actually a miracle that took place called the oil burning for 8 days. So I believe that's just been embellished. It's an embellished story, and that's basically where this idea of the 8-day lighting with single flask of oil comes in, although we have no recorded history by any prophet or any Sopharim, anybody who wrote the Tanakh, saying that this actually took place. What they do tell you is that there was a battle, there was a miraculous victory, and then the Maccabees family, they dedicated the menorah in the temple to Yahweh, and they were late. They were about 3 months late, because that year the celebration of tabernacles was in September, but they couldn't do it till December, month of Kislev, so they dedicated tabernacles 3 months late. And they said to Yahweh in their prayers that, forgive us that we could not come to you at the time of the tabernacles, but we come to you now. So this is where this idea or this Hanukkah came in, but actually Hanukkah was Feast of Tabernacles, if you understand what I mean. So hopefully that gives you a little bit background of history, and I don't think I need to spend hours on explaining why we have a Torah day, which is sunrise to sunrise. Normally our day starts at sunrise, finishes at sunset, and then there's no work. The work on the Sabbath day, it stops. In other words, your work day, your evening rest, is when the Sabbath technically finishes, and you can do whatever you want after that, in terms of work and stuff like that. But your working hours are only from Saturday morning to Saturday sunset. It is not from Friday night to Saturday night. That's a custom that came in much, much later, after the Greek invasion of Israel. And also, our people spent, over 500 years in Babylon, and the people that came back, they came back with the Babylonian calendar as well. So some of this also comes in from the Babylonian side also, where they had it's believed that they had a sunset to sunset day. Again, that's a lot of history. We don't really need to go into it. If you want to search into this, if you're interested, you definitely can search into it. I'd highly encourage you to do so if you like. There's absolutely no problem about that. But that's the short and sweet history of the Hanukkah festival, which really is a Tabernacles festival. But it's an extension, you could say, extension of Tabernacles. So, if you wish to do it, you're welcome to do so. If you don't do it, there's actually no sin, or there's no bad thing about it. In other words, you're not doing anything wrong against the Torah if you don't do it. It's fine. If you do it, it's fine. If you don't do it, it's fine. It's a plus if you do it. If you don't, no problem. There's nothing wrong about it. Some people prefer to do it. Some people don't. Some people say that we are not going to do this festival because it's not commanded. And I do understand their point, and I do empathize. I do sympathize with the people who say that, because they are correct that there's no actual commandment for it. But Yehuda and the priestly family who do it, my family side, who do it, we simply do it because it's our family that helped rescue the temple. So I do it from a point of view to make a remembrance for my families, in other words, the Levite families, and the other families that joined us during that time, to free Israel and free our temple. So for me, it's more a commemoration of what my family background did for Israel. So if you understand, it's more I have more an emotional part to it than a commandment part to it, in that kind of respect. So with respect to the light, I wanted you to take you to another verse in the book of Matthew, chapters 5, verses 14, where the Messiah equated himself and said, "You are the light of the world. A city that is set on a mountain cannot be hid." And he also said, I believe it was the book of John, if I may open that, in the book of John, where he called himself the light of the world. He said, "I am the light of the world." So again, in the book of John, he called himself the light of the world in John chapter 8, where it says that Yehoshua spoke again and said that I am the light of the world. He that follows me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. Now I want to explain that in metaphysical terms, because I think it would be important for us to at least look at that section. Let me go to John chapter 8 and maybe give you a little bit metaphysical side of it, or the philosophical side, how we apply it and what it actually means. Not what religiously what you've been taught, but what it actually means today in 2019, bordering 2020. We're almost ending a decade, and we're going to start a new decade. Baruch Shem Yahweh, for those of you who are alive, and those of you who carry forward into the new decade, may you be blessed forever and ever. It says, when Yehoshua had lifted up himself, and so, let's see, have we got the right verse over here? John chapter 8. Let's make sure. Yes, John chapter 8, where he was accused. He was accused by various people of various things. John chapter 8, verse 12. Then spoke Yehoshua again to them, saying, I am the light of the world. He that follows me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. So what does it actually mean? You see, Christians today, world over, what they like to do is make it in some kind of salvation, rescue kind of thing. It's not that, by the way. It's got nothing to do with salvation and rescue, because, as you know, as I've spoken many times before, we as the children of Israel, Bnei Israel, our salvation was secured when Abraham was alive, and God gave the covenants to Abraham, and God confirmed that Israel was to be redeemed as part and parcel of the covenants that God gave to Abraham, then Isaac, then Jacob, and then repeated through Moses. And our salvation as a people did not depend on anyone dying on a cross or shedding blood and all of that kind of information that you receive from Christian churches is gobbledygook. It's got nothing to do with our salvation. It is something that they concocted. This doctrine is concocted by churches which has absolutely no foundation in the Torah. Because the Torah makes no such mention, and it says in no place that Israel has to wait for a man to die and be crushed and resurrected and then to be redeemed. However, we do not say and we do not deny the virgin birth nor the resurrection, the death and the resurrection of Jesus of Nazareth. We do not deny that, but we do say that we do not believe or agree with Christians on their so-called man-made theology, because there's no such thing. So what does it mean that He is the light of the world? He that follows Him will not walk in darkness. Very simply what it means is this. When Jesus, Yehoshua or Yeshua of Nazareth, when He was born, He came into this world. He taught people how to receive God and how to operate God within you. That's what He basically taught the people. He taught Israel that they were powerful people. They could operate God within themselves. The kingdom was within them. He made many references, and the New Testament is replete with those references. And He doesn't say there's a kingdom outside. He says kingdom is within you. So where is the kingdom? It's within us. Where within us? Where is Yeshua within us? So Yeshua said, I walk with you. I'll be with you to the end of the age. Where is He exactly? Where is He within us? Where within us? In our head, in our brain, in our consciousness. So what do we call this? This Jesus Christ, Yeshua, Yehoshua of Nazareth. Where is He? So where is the Messiah? Remember that it is what we call the, how shall I term this? Is within you, within your forehead, within your skull. Remember the symbolism of the skull, the Golgotha and all of that is linked in with yourselves, your desires, your wants, your needs. The church will never teach you these things because the church is clueless about these things. So what the Master Yehoshua spoke about, hardly the church even understands it today. So this is kind of sad. It's sad that they don't teach you what actually took place. Then spoke Yehoshua again to them, saying, I am the light of the world. Well, who becomes the light? Well, if it's within you, who is the light of the world? Well, you are the light of the world because you have Yehoshua within you. But if you have Yehoshua within you, who is there to help you, then you are the light of the world. Because that's exactly what He said. Didn't He say you are the light of the world? In Matthew chapter 5? Yes, He did. So, are you light of the world or are you darkness of the world? You're light of the world. How do you operate that light? This is key. This is where the methods that I've been trying to teach you are to operate that light. Whatever desire you have, doesn't matter what that desire is. So the birth of Jesus of Nazareth, the birth of Yeshua, was the coming of God into man, or God became man. So what does that actually mean? Philosophically, you have God within you. You can operate God within you to acquire anything you want in your life. Whether that be a house, a job, a beautiful spouse, whatever. Whatever your desire, you can acquire it. That is what Jesus of Nazareth was speaking about when He says, I'm the light of the world, and he that follows me shall not walk in darkness. Look, if you operated God within you, you will not be walking in darkness. You're not going to find that light in churches. You're not going to go to church on Sunday and find that light there. Because what do? Rote prayers. Remember, rote prayers were not, were warned against. Don't do rote prayers. So when you do rote prayers, is that going to help you? Is that going to help your cause? And I say, the answer is negative. They're not going to help you. Rote prayers don't help you. Now, what if you focus yourself? Then they will help you. Let me give you an example. I had a little boy come to me. Little boy, who was maybe 10 years old. And I asked him a question. He was from a Christian family. He sat down with me. And I asked him, I said, he looked a little sad. I said, what is the matter? And I said, Is it that you don't have a Christmas tree in your house and you're unhappy about that? He says, yes, I don't have a Christmas tree. I don't have the money to buy one, and I like to have a Christmas tree. And so I said, okay, no problem. I'll get you a Christmas tree. And so I got him a Christmas tree, and I said, what about the lights? He said, I don't have any lights. I said, I'll get you lights as well. So I got him a light as well. I said, there you go. Now you go celebrate your Christmas. And you go do your thing. You know, if this is what makes you happy, then you go and you set your tree and you set your lights and you put your gifts underneath and you do what you do what you need to do. The kid went away happy. You know, he was happy and so delighted. I got him a tree and some lights, and he went away and he celebrated his Christmas. He came back to me after Christmas. I asked him, how you doing? He said, I'm doing great. And he said to me, Uncle, I want to give you a gift. I said, what do you want to give me a gift? I said, I have all the things in the world. What would you like to give me as a gift? He said to me, can I get you some, he said, can I get you some, he said, I'd like to get you some quail. Can I buy you 2 quails? Live quails. And I said to the little kid, I said, well, who's going to look after them? I said, I really, I don't really have time to look after quails. So he said, I will look after them for you. And I said, okay. I said, if you want to get quails, you get 2 quails and you can look after them for me. So if that what makes you happy, then that's fine. So, that's just a story to highlight. Here it's a tradition that children, adults and other people, they love their Christmas. They love putting up Christmas decorations, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that intrinsically. So they can do that. I don't want to cite verses from Jeremiah 10, which really have nothing to do with putting up of a tree. It has nothing to do with the Christmas tree, because it's that particular chapter, which is sometimes maligned and misused by Christian fundamentalists who don't do Christmas, is really, it has nothing to do with Christmas. That is talking about fashioning a tree into some kind of worship for a god or a god. So, making the tree into a god. But Christians don't do that. Christians don't make the tree into a god. It's just a decorative item. They put gifts underneath. So it's no big, it's no big deal. They can do that. Having said that, my point is this, that sometimes you have to go out of your way to help somebody and, maybe make somebody happy. I don't want to sit there for 1 hour giving a little kid a lecture about why he shouldn't celebrate Christmas and so on and so forth, because, I don't want to ruin his time. I'd rather him have his tradition, be happy with it, and continue. When he grows up, he'll understand more, why it's a tradition and how to obey the Torah. I sat the kid down, and I explained Torah to him. But I still got him the tree, because I did not want him to think that, I'm going to take away something from him and give him nothing in return. I wanted to give him both. And I wanted him to go away and analyze it for himself, what path he will follow. And I explained to him that these churches in this country or any other country, they're not going to give you nothing in your life. If you're poor now and you go to church thinking you're going to become rich, you'll remain the poor the rest of your life. I explained to him the principles of success and how somebody can become successful. I explained to him some of the principles that I've been teaching you, and I taught the little kid how to visualize, how to write a script down, and how to become successful in life. So again, he's probably going to come back to me this week after the holidays, and I will sit him down and I will show him, and I showed him how to write a card out, a script card. So these are things I believe that will take the kid a long way and will help him to understand what really is the power of the Torah and what is the power of the words behind what the Master Jesus of Nazareth said. So I think that's very important, and this is why I did that. So my point is very simply, you have the light and the darkness. What is the darkness? Metaphorically speaking, darkness is when you cannot achieve your objectives. That is darkness. Nothing to do with evil and Satan and all of that. That's all religious mumbo-jumbo that religion created for people to scare them into believing whatever doctrines they wanted to teach people. So it's nothing to do with that kind of thing. Darkness here simply refers to you having no control over your life. Because what does it say? It says, he that follows me shall not walk in darkness. What does it mean? Well, if you follow the Messiah, if you have the Messiah within you, you operate him, you get your desires, you get your home, you get your car, you get your spouse, what you're going to be? You're going to be a happy man or happy woman. And that means you're walking in the Messiah. You're walking with the Messiah because you're using the Messiah within yourself. Now, if you don't utilize that power, like 99% of this world, what are you doing? You're walking in darkness. You don't have that. You're not utilizing that power within you. So, utilize the power. Use it. Use that power. Write down your script, what you want. Define it. Have a well-defined script. You know, you can make it short or you can make it long. It's up to you. Whatever you desire, whether it's, whether it's $1 million in the bank, $10 million in the bank, whether it's acquiring a car, acquiring a beautiful relationship, you have to do it. Listen, let me give you a very simple example. Last week, there was a man across the road that the police came and arrested and took him away for selling wine and whiskeys and things like that over here. They took him away. His daughter came to me. He has 3 or 4 daughters. One of the younger daughters came to me, was sitting down, and I explained to her, I said, do you want to see your dad at Christmas? She said, yes, I want to see my dad at Christmas. I said, this is what you do. I said, if you want to see your dad at Christmas, how about you start visualizing and seeing your dad celebrating Christmas with you in such and such fashion. And so I said, if you do that every day, I guarantee you your dad will be here. Now that girl went away, and she probably did do some of that. And I, on my part, I did some of that for her over here. So I prayed for her dad to return, and her dad did return on Christmas Day. He was here celebrating. He actually came to my house. He was sitting over here. He came to my house over here, and I was shaking hands with him, and I thought to myself, what I prayed for this guy, what I applied for this guy, and what I told this girl, it's worked. So my point, it is very powerful for you to manifest things when you actually apply them. So it's important you apply them. Now I'm not going to go through the gamut, of techniques that I've taught you in the last few months, but for you, I would suggest you go back, you go back to the past and you listen to all the lectures if you haven't, and you learn the techniques. And if you're not sure somewhere, by all means write to me, and I can help you. If you're having problems, write to me. I have written a book as well on the law of attraction versus the perfect law being Torah, which we can apply in our lives, and physically and metaphysically and philosophically, we can get anything we want in our life, because God has already said it. Wherever your foot will be on the ground, that you can have for yourself. Wherever your feet go, you can have it. Meaning, wherever your imagination goes, that place you can have for yourself. So I'd highly encourage you to adhere to that, adhere to the words of the Master Yeshua, adhere to the words of Moses, and never give up on the Torah. Don't ever give up on the Torah. Don't give up on the principles of the Torah. The Torah has principles of success. The principles of success is that, the Sabbath, the commandments, the festivals, the tithing, the Zadakah, these are all principles of success. And if you leave those principles and you walk away from them, then you have walked away from the light. I'd highly encourage you to re-examine all those principles and adhere to them. Because if you adhere to the principles, success will walk into your life like, it'll be like sunshine in your day. And by the way, we just had the sun eclipse, didn't we? We had the solar eclipse recently. I'm not going to put any meaning into that. I'm not going to make some, fabulous legend out of it. And that was just an event that took place. Interesting that it's coming at the end of the year, this event takes place. However, what's important is that it's a new time. It's a time for us all as Bnei Israel, the children of Israel, to study and apply the Torah in our lives. And then therefore we can be fully successful and fully able to do everything we want in our life. You should have everything. You should have a house, car, a good spouse, a job, business, whatever you desire is in front of you. Right now it's up to you whether you want to acquire it or not. So With that, I'm going to stop this lecture. I'm going to say thank you for listening, and I'm going to pass it on to Rabbi Kifa to maybe he can help elaborate a bit more on that. But if you want techniques and tools, there is the book, the book that is the one that I wrote about it. I am thinking I should write a second book to maybe go further into explanations of how to turn the metaphysical into physical. In other words, eternity, bring from eternity into reality, into our world. Maybe I need to do a second edition of that book, and maybe that's in the pipeline. But in the meantime, have a great week ahead. It's the 6th day of Hanukkah, 2 more days to go. Have a great Hanukkah. Those of you celebrating it, have a great and happy new Gregorian year. And with that, I'll see you next Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom, and Shalom Shalom to you, Mishpacha.
Get so excited and carried away. There we go. Todah Rabah HaKohen for the wonderful lecture, instruction and guidance and history lesson as well. If I could be heard, can I get a one, Mishpacha? We're going to keep it moving. This is Rabbi Kifa coming in from home base here in San Antonio, Texas. Baruch Hashem. I give thanks to Todah for your responses, by the way. And I hope you all are enjoying this time, this festive time in the Gentile nations and in these nations where we've been dispersed and scattered. I hope you all are enjoying these times with your families, family members, friends, and loved ones. I don't hope. I desire that you all are doing that. I'm dumping hope. Hope is not a part of my vocabulary anymore, as you have noted. I'm eradicating hope, and hope will be eradicated from my vocabulary. I desire for all of you to have a wonderful time with your family members, friends, and loved ones. And I desire for you all to learn things at this time as well. Continue to learn. Learn things about human nature. Learn things about yourselves as well, so you can continue to grow. That's so very important. You don't, in our way of living, in our way of life, we don't reach a growth spurt. You know what I mean? Or we don't reach a point where, okay, we just stop growing. That doesn't happen. There's no shunning in our growth. We continue to grow, and we continue to learn, and we continue to keep ourselves humble, lowly and meek, so that we can continue to, be that light as we're celebrating Hanukkah. I celebrate Hanukkah, and if you heard HaKohen's lecture, if you didn't hear it, I want you to go back and listen to the recording, because he gave you a great history. He gave us a great history lesson. And if you really, how many of you now understand the ins and outs of Hanukkah as HaKohen has explained it to us and given us the true history of Hanukkah? Note the title here in the Pow Talk room. Happy Hanukkah, Uncovering Hanukkah Secrets. Now, this is important for you to understand. Now, what do you understand of Hanukkah now? What is your take on Hanukkah as you have heard HaKohen's lecture? I know a lot of us associate Hanukkah with lights. We associate Hanukkah with what? Any other takers? You can text it in, family. It's no worries. We all family. We celebrated, we associated with what? The Maccabees, correct? When I say Hanukkah to you, what's the first word that comes to your mind? I'll keep it simple, so you guys don't have to, text in so much, you don't have to, do too many keyboard, punching. Okay, yeah, ill woman of the tent says tabernacle. Yeah, that's right. The Maccabees, tabernacle, a rededication of our tabernacle, right? But from what you learned today from HaKohen, I tell you, this was a great history lesson that he has given us, because what you begin to see is that all Hanukkah really is an offshoot of what? Of the feast, of the festival of tabernacles, that we are commanded to celebrate it. Do you all understand that? That's very important to understand. It just so happened that, just like in our lives sometime, is that a monkey wrench is thrown in. No offense to the monkeys, because I'm a monkey lover. I love to watch the movie The Monkey King. That's a Chinese movie anyway. But I love to watch The Monkey King in action. It's so funny. But there's always maybe a stumbling block thrown in our way to prevent us from meeting our obstacles or meeting our desires, our wants, and our needs. But again, again with monkeys, a guerrilla warfare was kicked off, and this is why Hanukkah is important to me. And I have some great Hanukkah pictures that we'll be taking, my family and I, probably today or tomorrow for sure. But we decorated our home, and we have these nice decorations where our first Hanukkah with Nachshon and our family together, Pharaoh, of course my daughter Angela and my wife Sophia. So we'll be taking these pictures together. But to me, Hanukkah is important because it's more than a spiritual thing. It's more like just a respect of the history of Judah, because I come from the tribe of Judah. So you see, the Maccabees were who? What tribe did the Maccabees come from? If you learn anything from the lesson that Kohen gave you in history in his lecture, okay, Tada Atorah is the Levites. So you see, Tada Aliva. So you see, Levi and Judah are connected because Judah made up the guerrillas. We were that guerrilla warfare group that went in there, put the smack down under the guidance. Do you see how this? Our patterns repeat itself under the guidance of what? Levi. Under the guidance of the Levites. And we go on in here, ragtag army, everybody counted out, and what happens? We put the smack down. Numbers not in our favor. Everybody counting us out. But what happens? We put the smack down on the Greeks. The rededication of the temple. But during all that time and all these events that are going on, we couldn't celebrate the Festival of Tabernacles. Thus the rededication of the temple, thus Hanukkah. You all understand now. Nothing to do with no dreidel, blah, blah, blah. We're getting to the meat and potatoes of what Hanukkah is really all about, the true history, the true essence. And so that's what Hanukkah is to me. It's like a family thing, Judah. I'm going to celebrate some Hanukkah, baby, because I'm Judah. And I understand why Kohen, he does celebrate Hanukkah, because, he's Levi, and that's part of his family. Just like I'm Judah, and that's a part of my family. So I want to keep that family tradition and keep that family heritage alive. And I will pass it on to my son, Nachshon. He will know. He will see this picture that we're going to take. Oh, I was saying, Nachshon, this was your first Hanukkah we celebrate here. You see, here's our family together. The legacy, the history will live on through us. And it will be passed on from father to son to father to son, father to son, daughter to son, or whatever you have it. It will be passed on. And that's very important, that it needs to be passed on orally. That we need to rededicate the oral tradition. How many of you agree with me? Oral tradition needs to be rededicated. Because we went away from that. And that's a very important part of our way of life, of our history as a family. Is that now we have to start telling the truth. To top of that in Mokma, because that didn't come from nobody but the Mokma. But do you understand? Now we have to start telling the truth about our family and about our history. Because if we don't do it, who else is going to do it? Can we count on Judaism to tell us the truth? No, they're over there, dreidel song, dreidel. No, I want to tell you a song about the Maccabees, about the Levites, and about Judah, the guerrilla ragtag warfare group that came together and said enough is enough, and it's not going to happen, and we're going to take back what's ours. So, I tell you, great history lesson from Kohen. I have a lot of information I want to give out to all of you listening via YouTube or you listening via live. One of the first things is I want to make sure that you take down, Mishpaha, is this. It's very important that you take down my email address, kefabenyah@yahoo.com. Kefa, KEFABENYAH@yahoo.com. This is going to be very important for you to take down, because what you're gonna need this in a minute. I've been communicating with Kohen these past 6 days of labor, and particularly these past couple of hours, and we have some things that are going down. I told you, every time the Kohen goes somewhere, every time he leaves the country, great revelations come about. And I think one of the greatest revelations, in my opinion, that you saw come about was the revelation, as how many of you already made the changes in your Abrahamic Faith Bible or in your Hidden Truth of Break Scrolls with the day-night issue. I think we need to get on one accord here with this and really kind of clear all this up. This day, this light and night and day and night situation. This needs to be cleared up. Knowing that our days, and I'm going to touch on this in a little bit as well, in the spirit of Hanukkah, I'm going to touch on this as well. But before I get into some of these other things as well, I do have two great quotes that I'd like to read. If I would ask you right now, what is your desired car, like your dream car that you always wanted, what would you say? Response would be appreciated. Your dream car. What is it? A Ford? Is it a Lincoln? Is it a GMC? Is it a Toyota? What's your dream car? If I would ask you right now, okay, if you have it now, well, what is it? What is it? Just what's the name of your dream car? What's the dream car? Okay, BMW. Okay, that's a dream car. The Cruise, dream car. What is your dream car? There's no wrong answer here. Maybe you don't have a dream car. Maybe you don't desire a dream car. But what is your dream car? A Roadster is a dream car? What is your dream car? Okay, to die for those responses. Now, let me go ahead on and read these. Let me go ahead on and read these quotes that I have here. That's here, honey. Let me read these quotes that I have here for you today. And dream cars are very, very important. Okay, 3 people responded, so I guess nobody else has a dream car. No problem. For those of you who did respond to the rebuff. Okay, let me read these quotes to you because they make a lot of sense in dealing with cars. Listen to this quote. I couldn't find the sports car of my dreams, so I built it myself. There's a lot to that. I couldn't find the sports car of my dreams, so I built it myself. Isn't that saying a lot? And I have that same mindset. If something is not like, and Hokmah has instilled this within me for a long time. If for some reason that I can't get what I want, then I make it myself. Then I'll do it myself. And I think that's part of the DNA of humanity, and more importantly of the children of Israel, is to just do it yourself. If you can't get it done by other means, then just do it yourself. Create it yourself. Invent it yourself. That's a great quote. Because he couldn't find what he wanted out there in the mainstream, because it wasn't already invented, then let me bring it in myself. And I think, Shane Yah, Shabbat Shalom to you, this is right up your wheelhouse. You do it yourself. If you can't find what you want, what you like, it could be ladies, it could be that nice dress, it could be that nice pair of jeans that you always envision, that nice shirt, the nice blouse that you always envision. Then if you don't see it, don't settle for what second and third, third serving. No, you want first serving. You want the 7-course meal. Then create it yourself. Invent it yourself. You know what I mean? I think that's important. That's important. Don't just settle. Don't say, oh, well, since I can't find what I want, then I'll just settle for this. You don't have to do that. Create it yourself. You have the creative capabilities, the same as this man that I'm talking about here with his quotes here. His next quote was this: if one does not fail at times, then one has not challenged himself. How many of you in this room have failed at times? Put up a capital F. And I say put it up boldly and strongly. Put up a capital F if you failed. If one does not fail at times, then one has not challenged himself. And I want to encourage you all this day that today you need to challenge yourself. You need to challenge herself, himself. Challenge yourself. With challenge comes what? Failure.
Just like we're in this festival, Hanukkah, of rededication. I'm pretty sure the guerrillas and the Levites, Judah and Levi, they had to challenge themselves and say, hey, okay. And I'm pretty sure failure, they could breathe failure. It was so strong. Oh, there's no way we can conquer the Greeks. There is just no way. But they challenged themselves and said, okay, if we gonna go down, we're gonna go down what? Trying. If one does not fail at times, then one has not challenged himself. Now, these two quotes come. Now, I like to use these quotes because these quotes come from special people that had special, that was, let's just say successful people who may have died and passed on into the next life, but their work is still left here on this earth. How many of you want that legacy, a testimony about you? Yeah, you may have died and passed on to the next life, but what you left behind, you left something behind for humanity, to where people will always remember you. Isn't that something? That's important. You see, because at the end of the day, that's all about light. That's what light does. It leaves behind a mark. And every time you flick it, it comes back on. Right? My wife comes in with the most awesome tea. Everybody in this room, that should be one, but be a part of your wheelhouse. Is to leave this earth in a better place than you found it. Baruch Hashem. It's to leave a positive energy, a positive light, a positive whatever. I don't care if religious affiliation has nothing to do. You're for religion in the wrong place. But if you're here to learn how to live life and have an abundance of a life, then you're in the right place. And that's leaving the world in a better place than you found it. Making the world a better place than what it is now. And a lot of your desires and your wants and your needs may be associated with helping somebody else. This man, his desire was to have a sports car. He couldn't find it, so he created one for himself. Thus now, that sports car that he originally wanted for himself, a lot of folks are driving them where I'm from. Now, let me give you the man's name. You're like, well, who is this person? Rabbi Kifa. His name is Ferdinand Porsche. How many of you have ever heard of Porsche? How many of you have ever seen a Porsche car before? How many of you? Logan Klein says, for sure. How many of you have ever seen Porsche? A Porsche? Come on, man. Now, Ferdinand Porsche, he was born on the 3rd of September, 1875, and he passed on into the next life on the 30th of January, 1951. Now, the man passed on in 1951. He passed on in Osman, what does Rebbe mean? Rebbe means just teacher. It just means teacher. That's all. That's all. Just teacher. So he passed on. He passed on in 1951. Yet, I can go out after the Shabbat, drive down the street, and I guarantee you I'll see a Porsche somewhere in my city. Somewhere in my neighborhood, I'll see a Porsche. Anybody else like that in their neighborhood as well? So you want to talk about leaving a legacy? Now, this man's original intent was to do what? Just to build a sports car for himself, because he didn't like what he saw. Maybe some of you have that same drive, same ambition. I would encourage you, I'm lighting a flame this day under your ambition. I'm putting more fire to your torch. Baruch Hashem. This is what I want to teach you this day. Teaching you to encourage you to think outside of the box. Because too many people are in the box. I want you to come outside of the box. Israel, family, come outside of the box. This is where creativity really begins to happen. Because what if Ferdinand Porsche, he just said, okay, oh well, they don't have my dream car, then I'll just settle for a Ford. I'll just settle for a Ford. I'll get the Chevy Corvette. That's okay. if that's okay with you. But his desire was to have his dream called, you see. His desire, Osman. Yes, I understand you can quote verses from the Bible. I understand it, Osman. But again, context is key. Context is key. Context is key. So don't read what you say as verbatim, because then without understanding you're reading blindly, and a lot of people are. So I appreciate you quoting verses, but we as Jews have a deeper understanding of our history. So I appreciate the quote, but again, let me just leave you with this. Jesus didn't have 12 disciples. Disciples is not even a word in Hebrew. He had 12 students, and they were rabbis, by the way. Jesus he didn't go to church. He went to synagogue. He went to temple. Okay? So we must put things into context here, you see. So it's very, very important that we do understand that. And I appreciate your quote, but again, you must quote with understanding. And all of this is our history. Our history is very rich, but it's been taken and it's been, let's just say, it's been misused, and let's just say it's been abused. You see, so Luxury Class said Jesus probably didn't go to Sunday school picnics, even though he didn't. He didn't do that. So I think it's very, very important that we do understand that. You see, I appreciate that you can quote a verse, but do you understand? You see, and I think that's very, very important for us to understand. It's to get the history behind the verses. You see, that's very, very important to understand. Very, very important. Then, if you're actually a Jew, then you need to go talk to your rabbi, your teacher, to teach you properly, or find a rabbi or teacher that will teach you properly, give you understanding. And if you are a Jew, then you know the true teachers of the Jews are the Levites. They've been given mandate to teach the Jews. So make sure you find you a son of Aaron that's going to teach you what you need to be taught properly, so you can understand our rich history, because it's a very, very rich history, very, very deep, very, 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 very deep, very, very deep history. And if you know the laws of Moses, if you know our books, you'll understand is that we're only to be taught. We have to take guidance when there's a controversy. You don't go to the pastor. When there's a controversy, you don't try to figure it out yourself. You find the son of Aaron that's going to give you guidance and direction. And in today's time, going into a new decade, more than anything, we need guidance and instruction to help us carry on our way. And that's so very important. So if you're a Jew, then you're more than welcome here. If you're a Gentile, you're welcome here as well. All are welcome, because the father of my faith, Abraham, he opened the door to all people. He didn't close the door to anybody. All humanity was welcome, and so you are welcome here as well. So I think it's very, very important to understand. And Usman, at the end of the day, I'm not caught on titles, really. At the end of the day, I'm more of a substance man. I'm more of a doer of the word than the word itself. You understand what I mean? I'm of the substance. I'm of the meat and potatoes. You see? And that's part of our heritage as well. We will do, we will hear. You see? Let's be doers of the word. Let's not get caught up on words. Let's not get, because there's folks caught up on the name. Oh, if you're going to call him this in this Bible, then I don't want to buy this Bible. My goodness. See, these are example people that stay in the box. Oh, if you're going to use that, if you use God, then that's an abomination, brother. I'm like, my goodness, please, don't get caught up on the name. You see, because listen, when you stand before the Creator of all things, He's not going to ask you and condemn you by saying, oh, what's my name? Did you say my name right? If you didn't say my name right, then you're not welcome into the pearly gates, St. Peter's Way, blah, blah, blah. That's not going to happen that way. He's going to say, did you know me? He's going to say, well, how did you know me? How should I know you? By doing what I said. Did you do what I said? That's how you're known. You're not known by, because I said your name Yahuwah, or I said your name Yahuvi, or I said your name Yahweh, or I said your name Yeshua. No, you're totally missing it. We don't want to totally miss it. we wanna concentrate our energies on what's important on the faces. How many of you at one time or another were part of that category where you were caught up on the name? Oh, you have to say his name this way. If you don't say his name this way, he can't hear you. But yeah, I was in that understanding for a minute. Are you condemning people? His name is not Jesus. Oh, blah blah. He's not. Oh no, you have to lead people to their understanding, to what they know. You cannot judge folks by the same Torah standard that you have, or at the same Torah level where you are, because then that's not just and fair. And the God of Israel, the creator of all things, believe me, he's just and he's fair. And his judgments are right. That's what we're told in our books. And I believe that with every part of my being. Human side may want to disagree, but my being is right there. You see? My being is right there with the creator of all things. And I understand. I cannot judge other folks lest I want to be judged. So I'm not going to judge if somebody wants to call somebody a rabbi. I'm not going to judge if somebody wants to call somebody a pastor or a prophet or anything. I'm not going to judge that. But I'm going to look at their works. I'm going to look at their works. Luxury Class said, I'm less judgmental since I came to this room, this chat room here. My zeal is good, but it was misplaced a bit before. Overseer, yeah, I understand that, Luxury Class. I can put myself in your wheelhouse as well. And my overzealousness for the God of Israel, for the Torah of Moshe, the Torah of Moses, the Torah of Musa, my goodness, has made me a failure in some areas of my life. And I had to go back to those people and make things right. And tell them that I was sorry for being overzealous. Sorry for being judgmental. Sorry for judging them and how they want to serve their God, because that's not my place and it's definitely not my position. So I can give a flying flute right now in this room if you want to call me Rabbi, if you want to call me Kifa, if you want to call me Judah, if you want to call me brother. I really don't care. Like I said, titles don't mean anything to me. They mean nothing to me. Because at the end of the day, I'm just a servant of the Most High. That's how I see myself. I don't put myself up on these pedestals, this, that, the other, and the third. There's no time for that foolishness. I'll let the creator of all things raise me up. I'll let the creator of all things raise me up while I keep myself humble and meek and loving. So, these quotes from Porsche, I think, were spot on for this time that we're in right now. Challenge. Porsche said, if you haven't failed, then you haven't challenged yourself. And I'm paraphrasing. So every time you see a Porsche now, you think of challenges. Because I'm pretty sure in Porsche coming up with that design that he came up with for that car, he had a lot of failures in there. But you know what? He never stopped challenging himself, and he never gave up. He gave up or gave in. In this spirit of Hanukkah, I would encourage you all to do the same thing. Rededicate your ability to challenge yourself. Don't fear the unknown. Embrace it. Do not fear the unknown. Embrace it. How many of you are embracing 2020? I'm ready to embrace Gregorian's 2020. Bring Gregory's 2020 on. Because in this 2020, I'm going to be more successful, more loving, more kind, more abundant. I'm going to start many businesses. I'm going to love my family even more. I'm going to become a super awesome father and dad and husband. I embrace 2020. I say 2020 come. Because guess what? Kifa's waiting on you. Hey, Kifa's waiting on 2020. I've been waiting on you. Put it to you like that. There's a reckoning coming in 2020, Baruch Hashem. That's why I'm at.
Luxury classes might as well embrace it with the 20. You know what? You might as well, because guess what? It's coming whether you want it to or not. It's coming. It's going to remind me of more Western movies. He's coming and he's bringing hell with him. Well, I'm coming and I'm bringing heaven with me. 20. Keeper's been waiting on 2020. Baruch Hashem. So we give thanks to the God of Israel for, the challenges that will come, the challenges that you have in your life right now. Because you're all going to have challenges. Embrace them. Don't fear the challenge. Don't neglect challenges. It's part and parcel of the whole process and procedure of success. How are you going to have success without having challenge? That even makes you more successful, having more challenge. You see? When the Master Yeshua, Jesus of Nazareth, walked the face of this earth, and you all know the stories that were written about the Master's walk on this earth, can we not say during his lifetime that the Master had challenges that he confronted? Is that fair to say? That the Master Yeshua, Jesus of Nazareth, when he walked the face of the earth, that he was confronted with challenge. Is that fair to say? Come on. So, if the Master Yeshua, Son of the living God, could have challenges as he walked the face of this earth, what does that mean for you and I? Now, let's go further into the Master's life and say, okay, as we see the history as it is written in the New Testament, as they call it, in the books of his life, did he overcome the challenges or did he succumb to the challenges? So that's the question that you need to ask yourself. That it truly is the question that you need to ask yourself. And don't look at, because if you, in the spirit of the Maccabees and of Judah, if you just look at the circumstance or the problem, it may be overwhelming to where in your carnal mind you may think there is no way. There is no way in God's green earth that, we're going to be able to do what we're setting out to do. That's when you think with the carnal mind. That's when logic kicks in. But then when you go into your inner man, you realize that you're stronger, you're mightier, you are powerful, Shainya. You are superhuman. If you believe you can fly, you can fly. You can overcome. You are unstoppable. That's going to be my word for 2020, unstoppable. I cannot be stopped. I will not be stopped. I am unstoppable. And if you want to use this, listen to the MP3, add it to your, you want to add to your script, you're more than welcome to. But that word, unstoppable, is very powerful, isn't it? I'm unstopped. I cannot be stopped. I will not be stopped. I am unstoppable. That's it in a nutshell. that's 2020 in a nutshell. Unstoppable. 2020 going forward. Somebody need to print some t-shirts. Unstoppable. Now, as we went over the quotes of the day, I really like Porsche. Me personally, I've never been a Porsche fan, but what the uniqueness of Porsche is that their design sticks out, right? You don't see that design, right? Shane, you come from that background, you know this is your wheelhouse. So that design of the Porsche car just sticks out. It's like totally different than anything else out there, right? And it doesn't say, Porsche doesn't say, it's a car, but it just looks so different than everything else that's out there. And see, that's the key, is to look different than everything that's out there.
Not being showy and haughty. You see, Porsche didn't come up revving up his engine next to you. No, it doesn't do that. It just pulls up and you just look at it. And Porsche just is. It's just Porsche. Now, I notice now, through the evolution of Porsche, just like with all other cars, they're starting to change up the design a little bit. And I'm noticing that other car designers are starting to kind of design cars almost to look like a Porsche. But it's not. You see? And that's the greatest compliment that can ever be given. When somebody tries to copy what you have. That's when you know you're good. I hope you understood what I just said. Take it and run with it. There's great wisdom in what I just said. The greatest compliment is when somebody copies what you have. That's the greatest compliment. They don't have to come up to you and pat you on the back. I'll give you another example of the greatest compliment. Maybe some of you have sons and daughters. You know, one of the greatest compliments when a son or a daughter will come up to you and you ask your son or daughter, you ask them the question, you say, who do you want to marry? And they say, well, Dad, or Mom, I want to marry somebody just like you. That's one of the greatest compliments that you can ever get. How many of you agree with me? That's one of the greatest compliments that you can ever get. When your son or your daughter will come up to you and say, you ask them, what kind of person are you looking to marry? I want to marry somebody just like you, Mom. I want to marry somebody just like you, Dad. It's a great compliment. All that I love you stuff, throw that stuff out the window. Why? It's because they sit there and they watch your actions. They sit there and watch your actions. And they like it. And they want to they want to replicate that same thing. Same way with you, Israel. How many of you understand that you're light? How many of you in this room right now, you say, yeah, Rabbi, I understand I am light. I understand. With Akoi's lecture, he really honed in on that. You understand that you are light, but do you know what light really is? And if you listen to Akoi's lecture, he expounded, he kind of peeled away at light a little bit, so you can kind of see it for what light really is. What you say you are light, but what really is light? You see, you say you're light, you understand that you're light, but just like Porsche, light just does. It just is. It doesn't go through and screaming, well, I'm Porsche, roar, roar, buy me, I'm Porsche, I'm one of the, put me in the exotics class. Same way with BMW, all your other favorite cars that you named off. Me, I'm a Mercedes man. That's it, a Mercedes. Mercedes, that's me, man. Me and Mercedes. I'm a Mercedes man. My wife, she's a Land Rover woman. She likes Land Rover. A lot of women here in San Antonio, they like Hummers. They Hummer women. You think a man would be driving a Hummer, but no, a woman is driving it. It's like, wow, women like Hummers, especially the H3 model. Anybody else with me in the room on that? You notice a Hummer will pull up to you, H3 model, and you're thinking, well, a man should be driving this big old tank of a looking car, and it's a woman in there. H3. You see women driving. There goes thought out of the window. So you need to quit thinking and just do and just be. You see? Change out the same here with pickup trucks. Yeah. You would think a man would be driving a pickup truck, but no, these women are driving these things, man. These monster cars. So it all goes into what you like, what you desire. And we don't need to, let's just say, profile or put somebody in a category and say, well, because you're this, then you're supposed to like this. No, you can like whatever you want to like, you see. You can be whatever you want to be, you see. I've been listening to some successful people, and they say, one of the greatest things that my father ever told me, he said that I can be and do whatever I want to do. One of my mentors said this in the stock market. He said, one of the greatest things that my father always told me, he said, we were dirt poor. But my father always told me I can be and do anything I want to do. And my wife, she tells me this all the time. She said, honey, I love you because you always say, I can try it, I can try it, I can try it. Well, try it, well, try it, well, try it. My wife has all these ideas. I say, well, try them. And she tries them. And she does it. I say, well, try it. Try it. Do it. And she likes that. Positive reinforcement. Empowering her. 2020 is going to be a year of empowerment, Mishpah, for all of us, family, and for those that are around us. Because our empowerment will permeate everything around us. That's from the important. That's not from me. Believe that. Going into Gregory's 2020. Believe that going into Gregory's 2020. Devorah says encouragement goes a long way. Yes, it does, Devorah. And a lot of creativity comes out of encouragement, Devorah, and family. I'm talking to you as family because we are family. So let's keep it real, right? It's very important that we keep it real. So yes, I do celebrate Hanukkah, and we're in Hanukkah over here to keep up in Yahweh. And I do understand the importance of Hanukkah for me as being a tribal member from the tribe of Judah. And I want to honor the names of my family members that stood up to the Greeks, and will stand up to whatever wall that may be in your way. Because to me, that's encouraging. That's motivating to me. And that makes me say, if my forefathers could stand up to the Greeks, then I can stand up to 2020, luxury class. I can conquer 2020. I am a conqueror. I am a warrior. It's just not time for me to come out with that side of the warrior. But I am a warrior. So I think that's important for us to understand, Mr. Hart. As we look at Hanukkah, as just what? It's just like HaKohen told us. Hanukkah is just an offshoot of the Festival of Tabernacles. The Festival of Tabernacles had to be delayed at this time in our history because we had drama. We had an obstacle in the way that had to be dealt with. Our temple wasn't right. So Levi and Judah said, let's go get the temple right first. Then we're going to celebrate the Festival of Tabernacles. When, as you heard the history, this is the true date. This is the true date or time frame when the Master Yeshua was born, during the Festival of Tabernacles. Tabernacles Festival. I know all of you knew that because you all are students of our Kohen, and he's taught this before, especially the rabbis. I know the rabbis know this. And I know a lot of people are in travels, and you're probably listening via YouTube later on. There's no worries. Yep, the Festival of Tabernacles. This is the time frame of the birth of the Master, Yeshua, Jesus of Nazareth. But if they want to keep the December 25, so be it. And I say, Merry Christmas to all of you. And I say, thank you for honoring my Messiah in the way that you honor my Messiah. In the way that you know how to honor my Messiah. I say, thank you. I say, thank you for remembering my Messiah. I say, thank you for remembering my family member from the tribe of Judah. I say, thank you for that. So this is why I tell them Merry Christmas. That's why I'm so happy that they do these things during their holidays, as they call them. I say, great, do it. Merry Christmas to you. Remember, Jesus is the reason for the season, baby. That's what I tell them. It's all about Jesus. Yeah, because they get so caught up and depressed on presents, man. I said, why are you caught up on presents when you're present? Wow. You know, we as Jews, we have so much knowledge and wisdom to give to the people around us, don't we? Have you all noticed that? As you're giving out these golden nuggets to people around you, you're so wise, Israel. Family, you're so wise. Do you know that you're wise? Do you know that you're full of knowledge and wisdom? Mishpah, are you with me this morning? You are. You're like, what? Rabbi, you talking about me? I'm talking about you. Every time you open your mouth, you give out a wealth of knowledge and wisdom to those that are around you. At least that's what I desire for you. Every time you open your mouth. Why? It's because you're a family member. I'm honoring my family members during Hanukkah. That's why I celebrate it. And I understand the true history of Hanukkah. And I know it's not about Dreidel. It's not that. I tell you what, it takes a godless person. You got to be godless. You got to clear yourself. And I tell you, this is why I love the Chinese people. Is because they're taught in school not to believe in God. I think I talked about this last Shabbat. They're actually taught in school not to believe in God. And that's a beautiful thing. I'm telling you. Because you know why? Because their mind is clear and they think properly. And they're more receptive and open to what is true because they don't have to filter luxury class through a lot of gods. How many of you in this room know what I mean when I made the statement about filtering through a lot of gods? You know what I'm talking about? Me coming out of Catholicism, Catechism, Christianity, little stint in the Baptist system, non-denominational system. Guess what I had to do? I had to filter through a lot of gods. You know what I mean? And we were watching this movie the other day. And it was about something about the Holocaust or something about some sites where they had the Holocaust and blah, blah, blah. And my wife was like, honey, these people are Jews. I was like, yeah, they're Jews, yeah. And she was like, well, why are these, she said, well, these people are white. And she said, well, when you look at Israel, everybody Israel, around Israel, they're brown and black people. So how, and then they have these like white people in there. I was like, wow, she gets it. This quote-unquote godless person. She's going to have to filter through all these gods. She's going to have to filter through all the conditioning. She sees it. She has a lot of common sense. Oh, but she knows about the God of Israel. Because she understands it's that God that got her to America. I told her, I said, she said, oh, there's no way I can leave China. I said, you watch. So you watch the God of Israel. You watch what he does for you and your daughter. You watch. Oh, she believes now. She's a believer now. And I told her, I said, you're going to have a son. You're going to have a son. She said, I always wanted a son, but I can't have a son. I said, no. You're going to have a son. Guess what she has now? A son. I tell her, you need to thank the God of Israel. She said, the God of Israel is real. It's real. Why? Now we're going to start delving into my lecture now. Oh, before I do that, I need to put out an announcement. Actually, I need to get these announcements out, Mishpachah. Need to get these announcements out. For those of you who are in travels, safe travels to you. As you travel your way, and as you visit family, as you make memories, safe travels to you coming and going. The copper plates, Mishpachah. This is why I put my email down. If you didn't get my email, I'm going to do it again. I'll put my email down again. It's Kifa Ben Yah. This is dealing with the copper plates now. So if you're interested in the copper plates, which have changed, by the way, I'm going to explain that in just a minute. If you're interested in the copper plates, KifaBenYah@yahoo.com. Please make sure that there's two things, this two-step process here. Please make sure that you write this email down, Kefa, KefaBenyah@yahoo.com. What I want you to do is I want you to title this, not copper plates, because now we're changing the copper plates into silver stainless steel plates. I just got off the communicating with Hakohim, and we're going this route because it's going to be a lot cheaper and less heavier. And for one copper plate, we can get 3 stainless steel plates. Now, with these 3 stainless steel plates, with these stainless steel plates, you can also paint them. And we're going to put a coating on there. This is where they can tolerate the San Antonio heat and maybe some of that cold weather that you deal with up there, Shenyang, and you people in the northern states, snow and all that, and to deal with the heat down here in San Antonio. So there's going to be a covering that's going to be put on them, a protective covering on the stainless steel plates, and we're also going to be able to color them. So, maybe I ought to get y'all's opinion on what colors you guys like, family. I'm thinking blue and white myself, or some kind of off bluish color. But if you're interested in the stainless steel plates now, as they will be called, I want you to send me an email. Now, it's going to be very important you do this because it's going to be a first come, first served basis, because Hakohen is only going to be able to bring back so many with his luggage. And we're approaching that time early next year where he'll be coming back. Gregory Gregorian, he'll be coming back to America. So he's going to fill up his luggage. He's going to fill up his suitcase with the stainless steel plates, the Ten Commandments. And it's only going to be on one plate, not two separate plates. So it'll just be one plate with all the Ten Commandments on there. And so if you're interested in the stainless steel plates, I don't have a price on them yet, but I'll get that back to you when because I haven't even seen the pictures of the new ones yet. You know, they're in the holiday season over there, so everything's kind of slowed down. So we're still waiting. I'm still waiting on seeing the pictures of the new stainless steel plates that are gonna come about. But if you're interested, you're gonna need to send me an email and title it Stainless Steel Plates. That's what you have to do. Number one, send me an email. Number two, title the email Stainless Steel Plates. And maybe even number three, let me know how many you want, because I know for my base I'm going to need on my gates. I have 2 gates that go to the garden. I need 2 there. I have a front door and a back door, so I'll need 2 there as well, and maybe 3 because I got an entrance that goes into the car house, as my wife calls it, the garage. So yeah, I'm going to need several myself to outfit my base. And so kind of give me a number on how many you're going to look at wanting, because again, like I'm telling you, this first shipment is going to be the discounted shipment. Why? It's because you're not going to have to pay any kind of freight fees. The only fees you'll have to pay is for me to ship them to you, which will be a lot lesser now because we're not dealing with copper, so it won't be as heavy as they go through the U.S. Postal Service. Because you know they get you with the weight and the size as well. So if you're interested, let me know how many you're going to want. I don't have a price yet. I'm thinking around probably the $30, $40 price range is what I'm thinking about. But I don't know what the shipping is going to be. See, I don't know what it's going to cost to ship it. How much money is going to need to be circulated to ship. So I'm thinking around the $30, $40 price range. And now that price is definitely going to go up when we do another order, because then Hakohen will be back stateside here in America. Then what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to include the freight that's going to come from Pakistan. So I'm telling you, you're going to want to be in on the first run, the ones that he's bringing back in his luggage. So that's the announcement for the stainless steel plates. Now we can get, this is the word that I got this week from the Pokemon. It's to walk in it. You heard that word? Is to walk in it. We'll get into the lecture side of things. Is to walk in it. Sima says, sorry, I missed what Hakohen said about the light of Israel, all of us. Will you give a quick sentence on what was said about being the light? Mother told everyone on this Hanukkah, and I want 3 cents. Somehow you have to make sure that you send the email of the stainless steel plate, because this won't count doing it into the Power Talk. Well, this won't count. It has to be email, because you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go into my email and I'm going to open up a new folder. And in that folder, I'm just going to start from when I get those emails by date and time. I'm just going to put them in there. And that's going to be the order. That's why I want to do it this way. I want to do it this way so I'm fair, just, and right for everybody. So, when you say, Rabbi, I sent an email into Hakohen. Nope, don't do that. You have to send it into Rabbi Kifa with these instructions that were given. What he said about the light in Israel. Well, the thing is that there's going to be corrections. Hakohen taught from the book of Bereshit, book of Genesis chapter 1, in dealing with the light. We understand that the Hebrew days and the Shabbat the Hebrew day starts in the day, not at night. And I'm going to touch on this a little bit in my lecture in just a minute as well. I'm going to follow the Kohen. Starts with a day, not with a night. So, again, as I stated earlier, it's very important, family, that we start telling the truth. I'm going to say that again. And then let me say that. That we must start telling the truth. right? Luxury Class said he called the light day. Yes, indeed. The light is day. Okay, now it's very important. We're going to touch on, so it's very, very important that we have to start telling the truth. We cannot follow around being hoodwinked and bamboozled and rolling into the same old dog and pony show. We have to start telling the truth. And the truth of the matter is, whether you want to hear the truth or not, whether you still want to walk in the darkness is up to you, but light needs to shine, correct? So the truth is the truth is the truth. And this is coming from the Imhokmah. We must start telling the truth. Luxury Class in the evening to evening was specific to the Yom Kippur, Day of Atonement. That is correct. That is correct. Because that particular festival started when? It started in the evening. It started in the evening. That doesn't mean the day started. It started in the evening. So that's when that festival started. But a day, and this is why HaKohen brought us right back to Bereshit, right back to the beginnings. And we're going to touch on that in a minute. We're definitely going to touch on that because it's very, very important that we must start telling the truth. The truth is the truth is the truth. And the truth is that our Hebrew day starts with the light, not with the night. Period. And just to follow up on that, Simha, for you, and of course I know you will go back and listen to the lecture. The lecture class says music to my ears. But again, we must start telling the truth. Whether folks want to agree respectfully or disagree, so be it. But the truth, as you all know, in this latter age is coming out. How many of you been seeing that over the last couple of years in this decade? Is that truth is starting to come out. Again, the Sabbath is a day. Now, just because you said that, Luxury Class, you're making me have to go there. And so I'm going to go there. And I'm going to read you from Genesis. I'm going to read to you from the Abrahamic Faith Bible. But I'm going to read to you this, which is so very important. Genesis chapter 1, Bereshit chapter 1, verse 16 from the Abrahamic Faith Bible. Listen to this. Elohim powers appointed and brought forth two great lights. Listen to this. The greater light to rule the day. Now, Luxury Class made a very important point. He said the Shabbat is a Shabbat day, right? Now, what does that verse tell us in Genesis 1 and 16 again? The greater light to rule the day. So, day is associated with what? Just like Luxury Class said, just like Akoi said, day is associated with light. The light starts the day. That's why we say, is the sun up yet? That's when the Shabbat starts. From sunrise, that's the light, to the sunset. That's a day. You see it? And Elohim powers appointed and brought forth two great lights. The greater light to rule the day. Are you seeing that? Boy, I've read this verse so many times. But now, this verse is starting to peel away the onions to me. The greater light to rule the day. The lesser light to rule the night. The stars. Now, the greater light. What is Shabbat? Shabbat is a day. Now, look at what they did. The lesser light. Do you know what they did to our Shabbat? They actually reversed it. Wow. And they made Shabbat less. Because they said Shabbat started at night. Think about what they did. You see the ramifications of what they did here? They took the two great lights, and the greatest light was to be the light for the day. And they said, no, let's flip it. And let's make the Shabbat start at night. What are they doing? They have lessened the Shabbat. Look at what they just said. Look at the verse. The verse says, the lesser light is to rule the night, the stars. they've actually lessened the Shabbat. They've weakened it. They've watered the Shabbat down. Now, if you still want to celebrate the Shabbat on Friday night, so be it. Like I told you, I'm happy for you. Enjoy your Shabbat. But do you see how you're celebrating a watered-down Shabbat? A lessened Shabbat. Because the Shabbat is the Shabbat. And the Shabbat day, according to what we just read in Bereshit chapter 1 verse 16, Elohim powers upon it and brought forth two great lights. The greater light. Out of all the days that we have, the Shabbat is not even considered 6 days. It's the Shabbat. It should be the greater of all. The greater light should go to that time, right? But no, we want to lessen it and start it at night. You see? Wow, that's heavy, light. You lights, are you getting this, you lights? As Pharaoh exits stage left, are you getting this? Lights to the world? Do you see what we're talking about here? Do you see the revelation here? So Simcha, not only does that need to be changed, so everywhere where it says from evening to morning was Yom Echad, that's totally wrong. Yom Ravi, that's totally wrong. It needs to be so from morning to evening. So that's going to be the switch. So you all in your Abrahamic faith Bible need to go and make these changes. Otherwise, you're contradicting yourself. You see what I'm saying? So you're confused. You're like, wait a minute. If a Hebrew day starts just like we read in Bereshit 1 and 16, the greater light is to rule the day. Light is for the day. Day is associated with light. So why are we starting a day at night? Ooh, that could be a rap song. Do you see it? So apropos to the festival of Hanukkah. And rededication and lighting. And rededication. Lights. To rededicate yourself to what? Telling the truth. Somebody's got to tell the truth. And even more importantly than tell the truth, someone has to live the truth. This is you and I. We're the living lights of the truth. I hope you all see this. This is like earth-shaking, earth-shattering stuff here. It's very, very important that you see that. Imhokma took me to Genesis. The Mother Wisdom took me right to Genesis 1 and 16 this morning. It came to me as clear as day. I'm like, wow. He appointed and brought forth two great lights. I've read this verse over and over and over again. But now it just hit home to me this morning. That the greater light is to rule the day. The greater light is to rule. There it is in black and white. How many of you don't have that in your Bible? It's in black and white, Mishpahah. The greater light to rule the day. Day is ruled by light. Day is ruled by light. So what is the Shabbat? It's a day. It's called the Shabbat day. That's what it's called. The other times are just times. But the Shabbat day, that's the special day. It's a Shabbat day. So it should be ruled by the greater what? The greater light. You see? You understand what I'm saying? How many of you have a birth night? No, you have a birthday, don't you? Think about it. I don't think I ever heard anywhere in Scripture where it says Shabbat night. I don't see that either. How many of you have a birth night? No, you have a birthday. Think about that for a minute. You have a birthday. You don't have a birth night. Think about what that entails, because think about what it entails, because what's really saying is like, look, regardless whether you were born AM or PM, you have a birthday. Why? Because you're a greater light. So we're gonna call it a birthday, not a birth night. Well, what's your birth night? No, your birthday. Hakoin has taught on this many times before. Now everything must come into alignment at this time. Remember, I told you when the Kohen goes away, he'll get some revelation, or he'll get permission from heaven to open up some understanding and to go ahead and get the green light to make other necessary enhancements, or to present to us more what? Truth, facts on the ground about our history, about our way of life. Now, for those that continue to want to do a lessened Shabbat, because that's what they're doing, you leave them to it. If they want to continue to do that Friday thing, leave them to it, because they don't understand, and you got to meet them where their understanding is. Don't, you remember I said to tell the truth, but more importantly to just do truth. You can oxygen just telling them the truth, but you just continue to do. And those that may be interested later on, can, and they come to you and ask a question because they're watching what you do. Remember, it's your doing that's a witness and a watcher to the rest of the world, not what you say. Luxury Class says, so can I shop online Friday night if I choose, or dine out? Absolutely. Luxury Class at one time, I was even working. Yeah, you can. Absolutely. And at one time, I was even working night shifts on Friday nights, man. I was working night shifts, man, Friday nights. And my shift, I made sure my shift would end Saturday before the sun went up. Beautiful, isn't it? So you can take advantage of I wouldn't call it dead time, but that's time that you can, productive time where you can get things done. You can make memories with your family, have a nice dinner with your loved one, maybe even put in some overtime at the job, you see? And so you can do those things. And it's perfectly permissible for you to go out on Friday night all night long until the break of dawn. Saturday morning, that's when the Shabbat kicks off. When you see that great, we used to call it the great heat tab in the military. When the great heat tab comes up, that's when Shabbat starts. Because that is the greatest time. The greatest time, Mishpachah. That's when the sun comes up. Not at its lesson time. Not at the lesser time. The light rules the night. The lesser light rules the night, but the greater light rules the day. Some of you may be saying, well, I'm seeing stars right now. The lesser light rules the night, the stars. That's why you're seeing stars, because you're still with the lesser light. Huh? Shabbat Shalom, not sure. So you see the lesser light. But we're looking at the greatest of all lights. You, light of the world. If nobody else on the face of this earth have the truth, you listen via YouTube, and you in this room live right now, you have the truth. Run with it. You see? That's so very important. So very important. It's that you take it and you run with it. And you apply it in your life. You apply it in your life. That's why the Chochmah told me to do what? Walk in it. Now that I know the truth, I must walk in that truth. You want to be successful? Walk in it. You want to be productive? Walk in it. You want that awesome relationship? Walk in it. Walk in it. Like you want to be a millionaire? Walk in it. You want to drive a Porsche? Walk in it. That's what's important. That's what's important, Mishpachah, is that you begin to walk in it. See things as though they weren't, as though they were, paraphrasing. Walk in it. Walk in your success. It's very, very important. Walk in your relationship. It's very, very important. What makes you happy? What gives you joy? What gives you peace? You walk in that. You walk in it, Mishpahah. Luxury Class said, I imagined where I needed to be 2 months ago or so, and in December I was there. Indeed, walk in it, because Luxury Class walked in it. And I read these books and I look at the keys to success and what everybody says, what gives them success, and they say, well, they wrote things down. This is in a nutshell. They're saying, we wrote every day. I wrote what I wanted down. I wrote what I wanted. I wrote what I wanted. I wrote what I wanted. I believed what I wanted. I would envision what I wanted, and then one day I got it exactly like I wanted it. And that's so very important. I wanted a son. Now I'm looking at him right now in all his glory. And I told myself, and I made a promise to God that I would name him Nachshon. And here he is in all his glory. He looks just like me too. He looks just like me. My wife calls him Little Keeper. He looks just like me. And I'm super happy. Because I saw it. Just like Luxury Class, I saw it. I am the light of the world. Now, that brings me to another point. And hey, Simha, I hope we gave you a good brief, but our Koyens gets even better than that. Gets even better. When you go back and listen to the lecture, you'll hear he gives you a great history lesson on Hanukkah, on the relevance to certain tribes and why other people may not be so caught up on Hanukkah, and that's okay. I understand. It's not a mandated festival, but it's a family festival to me, because I'm Judah, so it's family. It's a family festival. You understand what I mean by that? I'm not Levi, but I'm Judah, and it's a family festival. And I celebrate it that way. And I think it's important for us to understand. Rededicate myself, and I look at the rededication of the temple to say that I need to rededicate my temple, because I am the temple. Right? How many of you agree with that? I am the temple. And that's true. I am the temple. And I'm walking in it. I'm walking in it just like I am the temple. Now if you listen to our Kohen lecture, you remember him saying this. He said, wherever I go, I seem to get favor. How many of you heard how Kohen say that in his lecture? He was talking about, remember he gave you the example of the bank? He said, I went to the bank and it seemed like, this guy, he said, wherever I go, I get favor. Now, I have to ask you all this question today. Wherever you go, do you see favor as well? Be honest with yourself. You can respond or you don't have to respond. But wherever you go, do you see favor? Do you see it? Do you actually see favor? Because you should. You should. You should see favor. Look at that. Yeah, I get things like bonus. Indeed, that's a favor. That's favor. Yeah, a woman of 10 says yes. Do you actually, a Torah says yes. Favor people give me. Indeed, that's favor. Because majority of the time, 99.9% of the time, the favor is going to come in the form of another person. You get it from another person. It's going to come, somebody else, this woman in Texas, somebody in Dallas, some man came up to her and gave her the keys to a new car. Said, here, I know you're Israel. Here's this car. You're Israel and I want to bless you. Because the Bible says, if I bless Israel, then I'm going to be blessed. So he gave the woman a car. Wow. See? So that's how favor will come. Majority of the time, it's going to come in the form of another person. Why? It's because the God of Israel is a social God. And he wants his people to be social people. The Master Yeshua, Jesus of Nazareth, when he walked the face of the earth, did he limit himself to what social class he dealt with? Learn a lesson. Learn from the Master Yeshua. Learn a lesson. He did not limit himself. He did not limit himself who he dealt with. Simon saying also the positive entities, good angels, are present to influence in the day, but the negative bad entities influence the night. So the new moon starts tonight. More moon changes are intense when the moon lessens light. When the moon waning lesser light than waxing. You can see more peace with people, right? Happy Shabbat day. Yeah, there's some things to that. There is some things to that. Science, there's some things to that. And the way the earth goes around, the moon, the sun, yes, there are some things to that. There are definitely some things to that. You know, you get time into you fishermen. You get tides, high tide, low tide. You'll see, you know, characteristics of fish kind of operate in certain kind of ways as well during those times as well. Yes, there's something to that. But somehow to add to that, remember this caveat is that you are a light to the world. You bring the light in the darkness. That's very, very important to understand. So are we to fear darkness? I say heck no. We are not to fear darkness because we're light. So wherever darkness is, light must, wherever light is, darkness must just sleep, must go away. Now let me continue on with my lecture. Luxury Class said I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean for weeks to see the Creator's creation. It's so refreshing. Yes, it is. You can either get on a boat or you can go into. I'm a nature man, so I like seeing the trees and like looking at the sky. I'm just a nature dude. I like looking at rivers and stuff like that. Yeah, mountains is a big thing for me. I really like that. I really, really like that. I'm a nature dude. Nature at heart. And yeah, I really love all of God's creation, and I like to really examine that. I really do. So to take time, and I would encourage y'all to take time like Luxury Class and to sit down and smell the roses is beautiful. Sit down and smell the roses of God's creation you've been given dominion of. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful to behold. And if you can't see it up close and personal, then you can always go to National Geographic, Discovery Channel. My goodness. It'll bring it to your TV screen. But it's nothing like seeing it in person. It's just nothing like it. And there's a lot of traveling in my plans as well. As soon as Nutron gets of age, we'll be doing a lot of traveling. My wife loves to travel. I love to travel. See the world. I want to see the world. I want to continue to see the world. Animal Planet is another good one. Yael, one of the attention's out for that one. To really begin to appreciate the 3 P's. People, plants, and pets. That's very, very important. I have a high appreciation for those 3. High appreciation. It's really humbling. I'm pretty sure Luxury Class will agree. I'm taking the words out of his mouth. It's really humbling to put you in a humble state to sit there and watch, be a watcher and a witness of creation. It's beautiful. Yeah, I bet you felt small. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And it's just so awe-whopping to me. And I love it. And I'll continue to love it. I get a lot just looking out my back window in the garden and just going in the garden, and especially at night, looking up at the stars and raising my hands up to the heavens and just reaching out. And you know what? Feeling like you know how I feel? I feel like I'm a part. I feel like I'm a part of something just bigger than me. That's the best way I can describe it. And you feel like you're a part. And you reach out, Luxury Class, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I know you do. And you just feel like you're a part of something that's just so much bigger than you. And you're so humbled and you're so happy to be a part. That's the best way I can describe it, Mr. Hart. If I can just... that's the best way I can describe it. And I love doing it because when I do that, and I bet you Luxury Class agree with me too, I get recharged. I feel like I get energy from that. And it's just like plugging my hand into a socket and just getting the power from the source. That's how I feel. And it's beautiful. And I like doing that. So I can see why our forefathers did a lot of meditation. I see why they did. And I know why, that's why it's important for us to do the same thing. That we need to meditate. And things will become so clear. So crystal clear. HD quality clear. 5G clear for you as we go forward. So let's keep it moving. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful. To God for sharing luxury class. I truly appreciate that because I'm of the same mind as yourself. Now, going back to the lecture, I want to end with this portion coming from the New Testament, as they call it, coming from the book of Mattityahu, the Levite. I want to read Matthew chapter 6. Everybody knows Matthew chapter 6 verse 33, but I want to hone in on something. And I think it's very, very important as we look to rededicate, as we look to commit, as we look to face challenges, and as we look to empower ourselves in 2020 going forward, and as we look to be unstoppable, because you are unstoppable. Let's look at Matthew. I'm going to read Matthew. I'm going to start reading Matthew chapter 6, Mattityahu chapter 6 verse 31. Therefore, do not worry, saying, what shall we eat? Or what shall we drink? Or what shall we be clothed with? Verse 32. For all these things do the unconverted seek. For your Abba Shemaim knows you have need of all these things. Pay close attention, Mishpah, to what the Master is saying here. Verse 33. But above all, and I want you all to highlight that, but above all, Hakohen touched on this in his lecture as well. Above all, seek first the kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. Now, that verse means a lot to me, because I'm going to tell you, as a Christian, I memorized this verse. Matthew 6:33. How many of you are with me? That was one of the verses that I had memorized. When I would go and pass out those tracts, and I would seek first the kingdom. How many know what I'm talking about? I go to them, hey, seek first the kingdom. Matthew 6:30. Man, I quote that thing verbatim out of the King Jimmy. Had it quoted verbatim out of the King James. I even sit in my room for hours and just say that verse over and over and over again. Just like the man came in earlier, Oz, whatever his name was. He came in earlier. He came in quoting verses and I would quote that verse without understanding. How many of you know where I'm at? How many of you been there? You're like, yep, I would quote that verse because I'm like, okay. And here in San Antonio, I'm seeing billboards all over the place with this very verse on it, off of I-10. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. I'm like, wait a minute. And then in Hokmah, I tell you, in Hokmah asked me this question, like, do you know what that means? And I'm like, I began to meditate on it for a few days. And I was like, yeah, I got to tell the Mishpah. How many of you in this room heard that verse before? But above all, now again, I'm reading from the Hidden Truth Brave Scrolls. Now, let me read the two footnotes that are here. Missing the words of Yahweh in the manuscript. So again, in the King Jimmy it says, but above all, seek ye first the kingdom of God. It says the kingdom of God in the King Jimmy. The kingdom here, in the footnote that was given by the Kohi, kingdom here is of the set apart one of Israel. And the righteousness there, or right ruling, is the Torah. Now, how many of you understand? We're just beginning to uncover the Torah. We're peeling away at the layers of the Torah. And as all of you are beginning to understand, Torah is far from what you thought it was in the beginning, isn't it? Our way of living is so much in depth than what I thought it was initially. And I'm so proud of that. I'm so happy that it is. And that there's more to it and more to come in 2020. More revelation, more wisdom, more understanding. Because I'm never trying to overstand the Torah. I'm never trying to do that. I'm always trying to get under the Torah so I can understand it. So, when the Master Yahweh, the Master Yeshua says, but above all, now, I know all you have many desires and wants, and you're worried about what you're going to eat, what clothes you're going to wear. You know, you get these worries. Today it's in the form of, oh, how I'm going to pay this bill, how I'm going to pay that mortgage, they're getting ready to foreclose, blah, blah, blah. What is the master telling you this day? Oh, I need a better job, I can't meet all my bills, I don't have money for expenses that I want to do, I want to travel, luxury class, I'm about to get on a boat, I'd love to get on a boat too and go do these things, but I can't, blah, blah, blah. What's the master telling you? The master is telling you, and Hakohen hit it on this in his lecture. And believe me, we don't sit here and share lectures, but again, the apple don't fall too far from the tree. So again, I see why. I'm a student of Hakohen, so I see why my lectures kind of coincide with his. But above all, seek first the kingdom. Can anybody tell me what the kingdom is? Seek first the kingdom. Yeah, you get the footnote there. But what is the kingdom? And this is where I missed the boat as a Christian. I'm quoting this verse, had the verse memorized, but I had no clue. I was so far from the kingdom. Anybody know what the kingdom means? Seek first the kingdom. I gave you a hint earlier when I was talking about the temple. We're talking about, and we're going back to Hanukkah and what the Maccabees in Judah did. The Levites in Judah. When I said, yeah, we need to rededicate our temples. Well, I said, well, I am the temple. So I need to rededicate myself. So when I look at Hanukkah, I look at Hanukkah as a rededication of my tabernacles, of my faith, of my position in the kingdom of the Most Highest. And so as a Christian, I never understood that the kingdom, I didn't have to go search for the kingdom. I was the kingdom. I didn't understand it as a Christian. I thought the kingdom was this place that I had to go find. It's like, a place that I can never attain. But it's there. Never realizing that I was the kingdom, Mishpah. You are the kingdom. How many of you at one time or another were out there searching for the kingdom? You were searching. Oh, the kingdom of God. I want to go to the kingdom. And you never realized that the kingdom of God was in you. It's already within you. Just like Hakohen said in his lecture. When you realize that the light is already in you, that's when the light bulb comes on. But if you're out there steady searching for the light, you will never find it. Just like if you're out there searching for the kingdom, you're never going to find it. You're never going to find it because the kingdom is already within. That's beautiful, isn't it, Yael 1:10? But that's the truth. And just like I stated earlier, is that we have to start telling the truth. You have to be truthful to yourself. Your kingdom is within you, YouTuber. You listening via YouTube. Your kingdom is within you. And you remember how Hakohen said in his lecture? The Master Yeshua, he was helping folks realize that they had what they already had all the tools within them. The Master was exposing their tools that they already had within them. That they had the power within themselves to do. Some people already knew about this and was doing it, but most people didn't. So the Master, he wanted to make it a level playing field. So he tell everybody, this is how you do it. It's within you. What do you want? Believe it, you'll receive it. It's within you to believe, not without. Use your mind. Get into your subconscious. That's where light dwells. That's where the kingdom is. The kingdom of the Most High is within. The God of Israel is never going to leave you. Why? It's because He's in you. So He's never going to leave you. But too many times as a Christian, I'm searching for God outside of me. That's why I never found Him, luxury class. That's why I never found Him, Oliver. But I was searching and I'm seeking. And the Master was so gracious One day, while I was in my prayer closet speaking in tongues, man, I was shabba doing. And I was like, God, I just want to know your will. I just want to obey you. I said, okay. One day, he told me through Mother Wisdom, through his word, he said, hey, my will is my word. My will is my word. My will is my word. And that's when the light bulb came on. I realized, okay, now I'm on the proper path because the kingdom is within. The kingdom is within me. It's not without. I don't have to go searching for it. And I tried. How many of you were searching? You were searching and searching, but the search became internal and not external. And that's when the light bulb came on. Is that Jesus is within me. He never left me. He said he wouldn't forsake me, and he's not. Though he's not here in the physical, I don't see him. You can search for him all you want, and you won't see him. Why? It's because he's within. He dwells within me, the Master Yeshua. He's within. Isn't that beautiful? That's the beautiful part. But so many people are hoodwinked and bamboozled, looking and searching for Jesus, searching for a God, searching for a kingdom without, externally, and they'll never find it. They'll never find it. Because they have to realize is that the kingdom is within. And they just have to open the door to that subconscious and get out of mind control and logic that will fail them, and it becomes a stumbling block in their way. Because the mind will tell you, oh, that's just stupid. There's no way that God lives in you. Yes, he does. I have the DNA of El Shaddai. The creator of all things breathed into the nostrils of Adam and animated him. And he became living. Thus I'm alive. Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. That right there giving me goosebumps. But Baruch Hashem, that's what it is. That's the truth. Remember I stated earlier, we must start telling the truth, Mishpachah, right? It's very important. I have the DNA of El Shaddai. But over time, I've been conditioned. We're creations of the Creator. So what does that mean? That I have the facilities, you see? I have the facilities of my Father. The Master Yeshua said, these things I've done, you will do even greater. Wow, what is that saying? I'm not calling the Master Yahweh a liar. I'm not going to call Jesus a liar. He said, I will be able to do even greater things. Where does that power come from? It comes from within. Baruch Hashem. That's the truth. You see? That's the truth. But over time, we get conditioned. We get in these systems and then we get conditioned. Religion is nothing but a system. That's all it is. It's just a system. Judaism has a system. Catholicism has a system. Christianity has a system. It's just a system. You got to come out of that stuff. You got to come out of the system so then you can become successful. Religion is a hindrance, man, to keep you down from the Creator. Moses, Abraham got off the boat, Noah got off the boat, and Noah didn't say, I'm a system. No, he had a belief in source energy. He believed in God. And he hung on every word God said. He did. He had a faith. He had a belief system. He had a way of living. Father Abraham, same way. He had a way of living. Baruch Hashem. So you have to really understand that. So when you see these billboards, you're going to see them around your cities, you'll see them around your towns. Big old billboards, Christianity, Catholicism going to pay a lot of money, and they're going to say, the billboard will say, seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness. You're going to be like, wait a minute, now I know what it means. You see, because once you realize that the power is within you and that you are that superhero and not a zero, then all these other things shall be added. See, these are just additions. That house is an addition. That car is an addition. That relationship is an addition. That job is an addition. Because why? You realize that the kingdom is within you. You realize that. You realize that you are unstoppable. You cannot be stopped. You are unstoppable. And that's the beauty of it, Mishpahah. And all humanity has the same opportunity. But a lot of them won't see it. It's because they don't see the light. That's you and I. That light. They don't see it. It's not see and say. They need to see it done. They need to see light in action, not light saying stuff. I can go around and say, oh, well, yeah, you need to keep the Sabbath. These are the permissible foods that we're permitted to eat by our standards. But the people, they don't want to see that. They don't want to see that. They don't want to hear you say that. They want to see what is your life like. They'll come up to you and tell you something like this. Oh, wow. I don't know how you have such a peace about you. When the world is going to a hell in a handbasket and you sit here with such a peace about you. Your boss just fired you and you have such peace about you. How do you do that? Your wife just left you and you have such a peace about you. I mean, how do you do that? I've been watching you. They come, oh, I've been watching you. You're always so happy. You're always so full of energy. Why? Why are you always like that? See, that's light exemplified. Because light doesn't say anything. Light just does. So be the example of light and just do. Do the works. Do righteousness, or what we call in our hidden truth, our Abrahamic faith Bible, do right ruling. What is right ruling? Just do Torah. Just do it, baby. Moses would tell you today, in today's terms, he said, hey, baby, just do Torah. Just do it. Your forefathers did. Follow the same mantle. All you have to do, family of Jacob, is just do the Torah. Just do it. Well, how do I know if I'm doing it right? Well, Torah mandates that you have to be taught the Torah by a son of Aaron. Aaron or his sons. Well, Aaron is in Abraham's bosom. So we have to look to find in 2019, going into 2020, we have to look to find Aaron's sons. And we have one here in Rabbi Simon Alter, the Kohen, the son of Aaron, Baruch Hashem. So that's where you'll get your instruction, your guidance, your direction, so that you can go out and live the quality of life that you need to live. I mean, Torah has been so uncovered to me in such a way now that I understand that Torah is not just, the laws of Moses is not just a bunch of cockamamie laws. It's just a bunch of, just laws that you have to follow. No, I understand that the laws of Moses is a way of life. It's a lifestyle. And it's a beautiful way to live. Because in this lifestyle, you love all people. And you have compassion for all people. And you have long suffering for all people. And you have peace for all people. That's what it's about. It's not pitting this person against that person, this religion against this system against that system, blah, blah. There's no time for that. It's that you respect and you love humanity, all of humanity. Because why? It was that human being next to you was created by the same creator that you serve. So you should respect that person as a person. Now you can respectfully disagree, and that's going to go on to the end of time. But you can do it in a peaceful way, can't you? Just because they celebrate their Christmas and you don't, you can respectfully appreciate that they celebrate their Christmas because you understand the reason for their season. And their understand of what they're really celebrating. Basically, what is Christmas? Christmas is basically, when you look at it from a Hebrew mindset, what the Christians are trying to do is celebrate the Festival of Tabernacles. You ever thought about that? Think about it. That's what they're really trying to do. Right? Think about it. But again, it's an offshoot, and they added a lot of custom and tradition to it, just like systems do. And of course, it's commercialized these days. They even trying to take the Jesus out of Christmas and the Christ out of Christmas, right? So it's so commercialized and so secular these days. So be it. But you leave them to it. But you give thanks to them. You say, hey, thank you for celebrating the birth of my Messiah, of my family member, from your understanding and how you understand it. Because we're not here to be judgmental. No one in this room should be judging anybody, because then you bring judgment upon yourself. So you must be careful of that. Don't you underjudge them. You see, little luxury class says, less stress too. Yeah, indeed. You're not stressing yourself out. You're more at peace because now you understand. And this is why it's important that we just tell the truth. All we have to do is tell the truth. Whether somebody accepts truth or not, that's on them. But more importantly than telling the truth, we have to do what? We have to live out truth. We have to just live it out. And those that are attracted to light, they're going to find you because you're light. And they're going to come to you just like that bug goes into that zapper. They're going to come to you in their darkness, and they will ask, you're right, luxury class. And then that's when you begin to open up and say, okay, you've come this far, now I'm going to take you even a little further. Just give them a little bit. Don't give a baby a steak. Give them the breast milk that they need. And see what they do with it. See if they can tolerate your breast milk. And if they can tolerate that, then you can move it up to a little bit of baby food. You know, put a little puree in there, you know what I'm saying? And then see where they go from there. But it's step by step by step by step. Because you got to look at it this way. How long did it take for you to come into this truth? Many years. Some of you complaining. Complaining it took so long. Whoa, God, why did you? And God's like, hey, it's not me. It's the you inside of you. It has nothing to do with God. It has whenever you're ready. You see? The kingdom is within you. When are you going to open the keys to your kingdom? You see? Baruch Hashem. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. In a nutshell. So some of you now, you have your kingdom open. You're ready to expand the kingdom, right? You're ready for kingdom renovation. Baruch Hashem. And that's great. Now you're expanding your kingdom and you realize how super powerful you are. How much of you're more powerful than the Avengers, man. Captain America don't have nothing on you. Superman, Batman, whatever, man. Now you're starting to expand that and you realize the power that you've been given by the Creator himself. It's been given to you. The Creator, if you don't understand this, you must understand this, humanity, is that you've been given dominion over this earth by the Creator. He's given you dominion. What are you dominating? How are you dominating? Do you realize that you dominate? And you've been given this dominion. You must understand that. Very, very important. So I think I'll get ready to wrap it up on this note. On this note, wherever you at this day, I would encourage you just to walk in whatever you desire for yourself. That was my word given to me this week. My phrase is to walk in it. You want to be successful? Walk in success. Successful at what? You want to be successful at creating toys? Then walk in it. You want to be successful at cooking? Then walk in it. You want to be successful at relationships? Then walk in it. Whatever you desire for yourself, begin to walk in it. Walk in it. That was my word this week, so I give it to you as well. It's to walk in it. They're like, yeah, Rabbi Kiva said walk in it. Yes, walk in it. You want that raise? Walk in it. Walk in it. You want that new position? Walk in it. You want to start that business? Walk in it. What do you mean by walk in it? Act like you already have it. Act like you're already doing it. Make it yours. Now. Walk in it. Walk in it. It's that simple. Yes. You probably say, yeah, it's easier said than done. Just begin to just do it then. And enough said. Enough said. Just begin to just do it. And enough said. Let's take that and flip that for a minute. I'm getting ready to close luxury class, so I'll be glad to give you the mic. So I think that's very, very important for us to understand going forward. And on that note, my goodness, I've been going almost 2 hours. On that note, we'll wrap it up because Rabbi Kiva has to go change some diapers and spend some quality time. I got to get on diaper daddy duty. Daddy duty is totally awesome. Changing diapers is beautiful. Staying up all night long is super, super beautiful. I tell you, I love it. Fatherhood is awesome. I'm just realizing fatherhood is totally awesome. Now, Sean stayed up to, I think, 3 o'clock in the morning last night. We're walking around the house. I was about to put him in the car. He seems to go, when you put him in the car seat and we could drive around a little bit in the neighborhood, he'll go to sleep. So, I mean, yeah, fatherhood is just totally awesome. And he stays awake and we just play all night. Now he's beginning to vocalize. 3 months old, I'm hearing all that. You'll be just like his dad. I said, man, you're just like your father. You love to talk. Great. I'm super happy. So, I look forward to it all because I got to get a wife a break, man. So on my days off, I really tend to carry the load for my wife, give her a break because I tell you, women, like I told you women earlier in the room, they got the golden nuggets before the mic was on. Yeah, I truly appreciate all you women. You guys are awesome. A woman is totally awesome. You're so unique. You're so special. You are so special. You are so special. And I love all you women. I love women. You guys are so special. And I lift you up to the Abba in the heavens to guide you and to give you great coverings for yourselves because you deserve just the best. A woman, my goodness, you guys do things I couldn't even imagine. And I truly respect all of you. I respect you women so much. In our way of living, we respect women. You may hear in Judaism that they're beating on their women and this, that, the other, and the third. We don't do that. We're not Judaism. We're the people of the books. We're descendants of Abraham. We're descendants of Jacob, and we respect women. We lift up women. We raise them up into the positions where they need to be, loyal and just queens. You guys are truly queens, and that's just what it is. And I respect all of you, and more importantly, I respect the wife that I have here. So that's why I do everything. I don't tell her I love her. I tell her I love her, but that's nothing. But when I go and take daddy duty and I take a lot of the load off of her, that's when she appreciates me. It's in the actions. You're right, luxury class, and I see that. And she has a high appreciation for me. She has a high appreciation for the God of Israel. She knows about the God of Israel. Coming from a godless country, China, she knows about the God of Israel. And she respects the God of Israel. And she has a love for the God of Israel. Because the God of Israel has done wonderful things in her life. It brought her from communism to freedom. That's beautiful. So giving thanks to me is every day. Christmas for me is every day. Hanukkah for me is every day, Mishpachah. That's how I roll. And to keep up in Yahweh. And Nakshan is the seed of my love and our union and our co-creation with the creator of the heavens and the universes. He's given us this beautiful son. His name is Nakshan. And he's just I tell you, he's a bundle of joy. Day and night. It's beautiful. I'm telling you, fatherhood is awesome. And I'm so glad that Heavens gave me this gift when Heavens gave it to me. You see? So I'm so glad. At this time, and I give thanks and praises to the Creator of all things, to the God of Israel, to the Master Yeshua for giving me wisdom and guidance and direction through my Kohen, my teacher, to be a great father, to be an awesome husband, and to be a great man. You see? Luxury class that begat. Oh, indeed. Indeed, Mishpachah. So, if you're new to this room, you're more than welcome to come back anytime. I'm going to give the mic over to luxury class here. But if you're new to this room, you're more than welcome to come back. It's an open door policy here. Our only agenda here is the Torah of Moses, and to walk in it, and to do it to the best of our abilities with the instruction of our Kohen, Rabbi Simon Altaf. You take your time, luxury class. This is family. I'm pretty sure the family won't mind. So I'm turning the mic over to luxury class. Shabbat shalom to you all. Mishpachah shalom shalom.
Hey, thank you much. If I get a quick mic check, good to be back. I was two main points I wanted to make. Imagining what we need or what we want, where we want to be. Excellent point, and I actually really got that from being in this room in the past months. So I was in I wouldn't say a miracle situation, but I was in a nearly impossible situation where I had to have something. I needed to get something done. And I kept picturing it, imagining it, taking action. This will segue into my second point. Taking actions and imagining it on a daily basis, and it came to pass. And I remember when I arrived at the point where I needed to be, I was remembering that envisioning, being able to picture it, and it makes sense. Now I'm on to my next challenge here before the 2020 even starts, get a running start. The second thing I wanted to address was when I was away. In a well-needed getaway. It was a nice experience. It's one of my favorite things. What is my favorite thing to do when I'm able to step away from quote normal life, if you will. I ran into a person that it was really interesting interaction. The person was eating alone. I had seen this person around let's call it a resort, so to speak. They were by themselves. I didn't feel sorry for the person, but they were the type of person that many people wouldn't even be around. And somehow the conversation started. So I initiated the conversation, being friendly, treating me as simply as a fellow human. And it turned out this person is a high-ranking decision maker in a major company. Now, my work is specialized sales and business development. I talk at the C-suite levels, like CEOs, CFOs. And by me simply taking action to introduce myself and giving the person, treating them, letting them save face, in a sense, they were interested in my services. It's a very high, nothing's set in stone that are going to be away for a while, but they insisted on. They dropped their plate, they dropped their fork, so to speak, and we talked for about 20, 25 minutes, and I was. They had a need in their high-ranking business. Now, nothing may happen, may will. I'm envisioning that it will because when I was sitting down talking with them, everything was tying together simply by me spending time, being friendly to somebody that no one else would be willing to talk to. And I did it with that motivation, not because I was attempting to get something out of it. And it turned out to make a great connection that may help me, business-wise now, take me to a level where I've never been before. So I'm extremely thankful even for the opportunity. The Creator's wonderful. Bless His name. I praise Him. I've missed the mark so many times. It's a constant reminder that the Creator's faithful and He will provide beyond our wildest dreams. So we have to take action. That's really the point of it. And envision where we're going to be. And so the things that you've been saying, sir, and obviously the two of you that addressed the room mean so much to me because it's allowed me to take things that I understood but took them to a higher level and put them together. And so I have a momentum now that I didn't have for the last year, and I'm excited for 2020. And I want to thank. I'm thankful to be back in the room and thank everybody for their great points. And I'll sign off here.
To Dar Luxury Class, to Dar for sharing, to Dar for your experiences, and you're creating your own legacy. You're creating your own environment because you're your own kingdom, and things will happen just the way you want them to happen. Just the way you want them to happen, they're gonna happen. And if it can happen in Luxury Class, it can happen to anybody else in this room. Same way, because our God is no respecter of persons. The Creator of all things, He's no respecter of persons. Things will happen for you the same way. So consider where you want to be and go be it. That's just it. Consider where you want to be and go be it. Envision it, live it, walk in it, and it will be. It will be. Yeah, we just realize how much power we have. And I think we're starting to realize that, and that's awesome. I know we're starting to realize it, and it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. And the universe is, you'll attract certain people your way that need to be, that's going to help you with whatever you desire. That's called attraction. You're attracting in those people. Your energy is attracting in the people that you need to meet. And that's just all part and parcel of it. And it may be somebody that you don't, and you think, because logic will get in, you think, well, why the heck am I talking to this person? Like, well, nobody wants to talk to this. But why? Because that's logic. But when you will attract the certain people that you need to attract that to meet your desires and wants and needs. This is why, and I'm going to do a lecture on this. This is why it's so very important that your wants and needs and thoughts, they need to be positive. Because just like we can attract those positive people in our lives, we can also attract the negatives as well. So we must be mindful of that and steer clear of the negativity. Because guess what you're going to attract? Negativity. You see? And you brought it all on yourself. You did it. Your kingdom did it. So check your kingdom. Check your kingdom and clean house. Use this time. There's a couple of more days left. We have Gregory's New Year. The clean house in your kingdom. Do your renovations. Make improvements. And whatever needs to be done before Gregory's New Year kicks in. And so you can start anew and rededicate yourself to where you want to go. Maybe you need to readjust your goals. Maybe Luxury Clark said he's reinvented it. That's great. Rebrand. You know, reread whatever you need to reread it to where you're happy and you're content and you're full of love, joy, and peace, and you're totally happy because you're doing what you want to do. Do what you love and love what you do. And that'll, I'll tell you, that's going to make your life beautiful. You see? So, here we go. We're back at it. And I'll see you guys next year, Miss Bahar. Happy New Year to all of you guys. And I'll see you next year. 2020. I'll see you in 2020. Because we're all unstoppable, man. We're unstoppable. We can't be stopped. 2020, here we come. 2020, they're not ready for us. But we're ready for 2020. 2020 not ready for us. But I tell 2020, come on. I've been waiting on you. I've been waiting. 2020, I'm waiting on you. Come on over here. I'm waiting on you. So here we go. 2020, bring it on. We're going to do great things in 2020. And we're going to make America even greater as we make ourselves even greater. And we're going to make our God the greatest. We're going to make our God the greatest that He already is. But the people will know because they'll see it in us. And we're going to do great things and help people. That's how we're going to make our God great, by helping other people. They're like, wow, what is this God that you serve? He's awesome. So on that note, we'll wrap it up. I'll say Shabbat Shalom and Shalom Shalom to you. And my desire for all of you to have a wonderful 6 days of labor ahead. Todah Rabbah. Happy New Year, Mishpahah.